There are still active water rescues going on. There are at least 10 different swift boat teams. They're getting people from their houses, also rescuing a number of pets as well. So even at this late date, still actively rescuing people from this storm. Also, we've seen up and down here along the roads cranes going through neighborhoods. They are lifting up debris, trying to cart it away.
Fox's Steve Harrigan in Tampa. Some of that is debris left over from Hurricane Helene. Milton is now blamed for at least 17 deaths. Utility crews making progress, but more than 2 million in Florida still have no power. The Trump campaign apparently wants more protection for the former president. The New York Times and Washington Post reporting the campaign is requesting the use of military aircraft and vehicles. The Secret Service increased protective measures for Trump after 2 assassination attempts. He has a rally this afternoon in Aurora, Colorado, fulfilling a campaign pledge to visit that city, where security footage showed suspected Venezuelan gang members armed in the hallways of an apartment building.
The city's Republican mayor admits to Fox News that, yes, they had a problem in several apartment complexes here. They're dealing with that problem, but he insists the city is not overrun by Venezuelan gangs.
Fox's Aisha Hasni in Aurora. Vice President Harris's running mate and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz in Michigan.
Today, there are more factories getting built, more auto and construction jobs, and more American energy being produced than any day when Donald Trump was president.
As fellow Democratic governors prepare to launch the Blue Wall bus tour next week, aimed at building support for Harris in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, where recent polls show slippage, but still a tight race. America is listening to Fox News.
Did you know every 3 seconds someone is a victim of identity theft? LifeLock wants to give you helpful tips to protect your identity this Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Adding multi-factor authentication, like a text with a security code, is one way to boost your security. But for comprehensive protection, trust LifeLock. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal info and steps in to resolve issues that arise, guaranteed or your money back. Protect yourself with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The non-October feel will take us right through Friday afternoon. Sunny skies, 84 for the high. Tonight, clear skies, 70s for evening plans, 61 for the low. Saturday, sunny skies, 87 for the high. Clear skies, 60 Saturday night. Sunday, we start a cool down, sunny and 75. 48 Sunday night, 62 Monday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
A lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, this is my last hope. The next step is getting them in the right arch supports. Our goal is to have that long-term change for them, to see someone that is in pain. I change things for them. See how we can help you with a free fitting at the Good Feet store.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential. But finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
If you're experiencing low energy, brain fog, or bloating, then your body might need a detox. Active Liver from New Nordic makes it easy to help your liver to detox your body all year long without major changes to your diet or lifestyle. Active Liver is available in stores at CVS or online at Amazon.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Happy Friday, everybody. Hope your Friday is going well so far. It's Mike Elam sitting in for Annie Fry today. I'm here today. I am back on Monday. And today I have everybody else who's here. Mr. Wiggins is here. Brad is here. Annie's the only one who's not. And then all you guys are going to leave me alone for Columbus Day / Indigenous Peoples and whatever else they're trying to co-op that holiday into being on Monday.
We are celebrating privately.
Yeah, exactly.
Amongst ourselves.
A little quiet time with the family to do a little reflection on where you are on this issue.
Yeah. What we've always said is Thanksgiving is not enough.
This is true.
We have to celebrate the Pilgrims more.
The Pilgrims, exactly.
Which is what we refer to Columbus as a pilgrim.
That's what we call Columbus as a pilgrim.
Which is, he was.
Well, there you go.
But he's just not what you typically call the pilgrim.
He's a different pilgrim.
Yes.
And it's a John Wayne pilgrim.
That's right.
going a different
it's a great
direction.
Start. It's a great start to the show.
Hey, I have not done this show in forever, it feels like. I don't think I've even been on 97.1 as a guest or anything in probably at least a month. Anything happen while I've been gone?
No.
No? Pretty much same stuff, different day?
Actually, kind of, yeah. There's been a bunch of debates.
Wait, debates?
Yeah, you probably have not been on since those have been happening.
Who was debating?
Well, the most recent was the vice presidential debate.
Yeah, the VP debate.
Oh, so that election's still going on?
That's right.
That's still a thing.
I thought we finished that already. No? That's still going on.
We finished, 2024 election 1.0 whenever Joe Biden was forced out.
Oh, that guy. Is he still alive,
But then
by
we
the
started a new one because the Democrats wanted a do-over on their candidate.
That's right. And they went with the lady that no one ever voted for.
Right.
That's right. Because of democracy.
That exactly. And wait, is the biggest issue still facing America the threat to democracy? That ever go away, or is that still a thing?
It did go away.
It did go away?
Wait, let me tell you how it went away.
How did it go away?
So it was a huge issue. Then Democrats elected somebody without voting for them, and they realized it was going to be hard to message on, so it went away.
It went away, but then it started creeping back. And then somebody shot at Trump because he is a threat to democracy, and they hit him in the ear. And then it went away.
Our timeline's a little messy here, but
and then it went away for a little while again. And then somebody tried to shoot at Trump again, but was apprehended before he could get a shot off. And so it's gone away, and now it's starting to kind of creep back again.
It's great that the oldies can come back. It's the music radio days of you have recurrence. Those are things that used to be a hit, and then they went away for a while because you got tired of hearing them because we overplayed it way too much. And then it comes back, and you go, oh, yeah, I remember that. That was a really good one. And then you get tired of it quickly again, and it kind of fades away.
That's what the last month has been. In a sense, you're listening to Billie Eilish's new single, but also it's sitting on the dock of the bay, which you've heard a billion times. So
there you go.
It's kind of playing the hits.
Little Otis Redding coming back, then a little nostalgia for things, and then it goes away. It's funny. Did you guys watch the whole Saturday Night Live clip with Kamala Harris?
Watched several of these.
Yeah, there's a few of them.
Yeah. So it's funny kind of watching that as to how they're starting to play with her a little bit. Those hard-hitting interviews that she's been doing on those hardcore news outlets like The View.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, you did have 60 Minutes, which did an interview with her. And then I guess from everything that I'm taking from that, they decided to pick and choose how they were going to put the interview together. And I'm going to ask you this question, and I didn't really like that answer. But I ask you another question down the road. I like that answer better for the first question that I ask you. So I'm going to move that one and put that one up here and make you look like you're not crazy.
Okay.
As crazy.
Tell me where you're hearing that, because we have interviewed people about this, but I want to know where you heard that.
On Fox News.
Okay. So I didn't know Fox News was talking about this.
So Fox News was talking about the fact that, I don't even know if we have the audio from that, from what they did, but he asked her the question, and Fox News has been playing the crap out of it. So they ask her a question of basically where are you with Israel? And Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't seem to be listening, was how Bill Whitaker did the interview, I believe, from 60 Minutes. And he laid that out there. And she went on her normal Kamala unhinged, doesn't really make sense word salad answer. And then he asked her another question, but I don't know what the other question was. And the answer that she gave, still not awesome, but not so unhinged. And they took that answer and they put it as the answer in the interview that they played on 60 Minutes. The problem for her is, in the trailer leading up to the interview, they used her original answer. So the conspiracy theory, if you will, and probably what happened, to be honest, is when they played the trailer, the Harris campaign must have reached out to CBS and went, hey, can we not run that one? Because she looks, BS crazy at that point. So can you help us on that one a little bit? And they went, yeah.
Yeah, the journalist said, okay.
Exactly. Remember, this is the same news organization, and I would put that in air quotes, news organization with CBS, who is chastising their own reporter for actually pushing back on another story that they did, where he pushed back on them, and just to get what would be CBS's version of a fair and balanced interview. They had a call that Brian Kilmeade, I believe, played it and played the audio from it. No, Mark Reardon. Mark Reardon played the audio from it, of a call that CBS News did with all of their reporters in talking about, unfortunately, one of our own has veered and is not holding up journalist integrity. And I was like, wait, what? And then their legal, I don't know if it was not a legal reporter, but their legal rep who was on the call, pushed back on the management and said, wait. He didn't do anything wrong. He just clarified a point and pushed back to say, well, the other side is saying this. How would you answer that? And
wait, so clarify who is on this call. So who were they calling out?
So the reporter they were calling out. So it was like a CBS Mornings thing, and it was Tyneshi Coates was the author.
Correct.
And he was very, very sympathetic in his new book, like basically calling Israel genocidal in his new book. And the reporter, which I can't think of his name right now, he pushed back and basically had what would be considered a normal adversarial interview from the press with this author. And really, the author didn't have good answers for it.
Not at all.
The author came off looking petty and bad on this.
I want to say it was Steve Coates but I could be wrong about that.
I'll look it up.
I'm not a big CBS News person, so I'm a little lost on who their reporters are.
I'm so not a big CBS person that I didn't even know this entire thing existed.
It's become a whole thing internally for them because journalistically, if you look at our big, CBS, NBC, ABC, you see what they have become as news organizations, and they are complete just frauds of actually doing journalism. We just don't do that anymore.
Okay, I don't know if I can pronounce his name, but the host that asked the questions was Tony DeCopoli.
That's right.
DeCopel?
Yes. Tony DeCopel, I believe, is the guy who did that. So he's the one who was doing the interview and asking the questions. It all goes back to the bigger problem that we have as people who are trying to be informed. And let's be honest, if you're listening to 97.1, you're into all this inside baseball stuff, right? And I feel bad talking about some of the things that we're going to talk about later on today because it's kind of preaching to the choir, as we used to say in the Southern Baptist Church, right? You're already here. I don't really need to tell you about the gospel because you wouldn't be here every Sunday if you didn't believe in it already. If you're listening to this station, you already understand that a lot of these other news sources are just feeding you one side of the story, and they are trying to do it over and over and over again because we all know from advertising, frequency sells. If I tell you something enough over and over and over and over again, eventually you start to believe it. So
under the banner of unbiased news.
Exactly.
Which is the big problem.
And that's kind of where we end up with that stuff. A guy who doesn't have unbiased news is Ryan Schmelz, and we're going to talk to him in a little bit. We're going to talk about the fact that Fox is still pitching a debate. I know Trump has said before, it is too late, we're already voting. Harris kind of acted like she wanted to do another debate, but she's not on board with the Fox News people. She's like, no. I want to keep with my people who we just talked about are there to protect her and make sure that she doesn't look crazy, which they're doing a poor job because the more that she does interviews, the more it's bleeding through and people are able to see, hey, remember why she dropped out before any votes in 2020? Yet now you're remembering because there is absolutely no substance there whatsoever. We want to know, though, on the YouTube live chat poll, what would your answer be to today's poll? The poll is, what is the most likely result of the presidential election? And we're going to give you 4 choices. Brad went all out on covering everything here, right? So your first choice is Kamala wins the popular vote and the Electoral College. Number 2, Trump wins the popular vote and the Electoral College. Number 3, Kamala wins the popular, Trump wins the Electoral College. Or number 4, Trump wins the popular, Kamala wins the Electoral. So there are your 4 choices. We would love to get your opinion on that, so you can log on and check that out. I love the fact of this show, better than any other show that I get the opportunity to be a part of, has such a fantastic interactive audience here.
Yeah.
You guys have done a great job of interacting. Is it fannies? Is that what we're calling that?
They call themselves all sorts of things. There's the fannies, the fanny pack,
the friars.
The friars.
I got called out by a lady last time I did this show, so I still have a little PTSD because I said something wrong, and she's like, "We're fannies, damn it, blah blah blah, get it right." I'm like, sorry about that. And Lori, I don't know where Annie is. I just know she ain't here. I didn't ask a lot of questions. When Steve said, "Can you work for Annie?" I said, "You still want me? God love you. Yes, I would love the opportunity to come play on 97.1. After all, this is the conservative voice in St. Louis. So it's good to be a part of the team. It's good to see you guys again. We haven't chatted in a while. I see you every now and then when I pop through the building when they drop the restraining order and I'm allowed to make it downtown.
Yeah.
When you live in St. Charles, they don't always want you to come downtown. I get to come down once a month for the East-West Gateway Council of Governments, which, by the way, they're doing their crime summit follow-up today. Steve Elman and I were talking yesterday, and he said, yeah, I got to be downtown for the crime summit stuff. I'm like, oh, the one that Tashara and Sam Page are leading as the chairman of the crime summit problem? Think about this. You have East-West Gateway that has put together a crime summit task force to try to combat crime in St. Louis metro area. The majority of that crime being downtown. The 2 people who they vote to make the chair people are the mayor of St. Louis and the county executive of St. Louis County. By the way, that's where 90% of the homicides occur in the St. Louis metropolitan
So you're
area.
saying they're going to own up to it?
That would be CBS reporting right there.
There's a big problem. They're going to say, yes, we're at the center of it. That's what you're saying is going to happen?
So Elman made a motion at an East-West Gateway meeting where he said, I think we need to at least have a representative from the Missouri side and a representative from the Illinois side who are the chair people of this committee, just an attempt to keep it fair for the region, right? And Tashar said, well, Sam and I are the closest to the problem, so we need to be the ones who are the chair people, which I would come back to the fact and say, if you knew what you were doing and you had good answers for this, I would submit we would need a crime task force for East-West Gateway to do, which, by the way, East-West Gateway generally, transportation. It's generally what East-West Gateway does. They handle all the transportation funding from the federal government that comes to the St. Louis metropolitan area. Now, they do some other things, too, and it's a fantastic group of people overall. The entire metro area is represented here, and there's a lot of really good people that are members of East-West Gateway. So I don't want to shatter that. I just thought it was funny when I'm like, oh, really? Okay. So we're going to put the fox in charge of the hen house. We'll see how this goes.
It seems as if, not to get too deep on this here, but it seems as if they knew, and it sounds like they do know where the majority of the problem is.
They do.
That they could solve it really without any of these other people's involvement, therefore negating the need for the entire summit.
I would tell you, in talking with some St. Louis City police officers that I have gotten the opportunity to know, that if the city of St. Louis would just take the gloves and the restraints off of the police officers downtown, and their contention is, not mine, their contention is, give us a month to go solve the problems that we know are happening, we will fix this in a month. St. Louis City police officers. Now, these are rank and file people. These aren't the head honchos. These are people that are on the streets running down the bad guys on a regular basis. They said, if you'll take the gloves off of us and let us go do our job like we need to do our job, we can fix this in a month. If you did that, it would change everything for the St. Louis metro area.
Well, pardon me, but I tend to trust the politicians more.
and why wouldn't you? I mean, they have such a great track record to this point. Hey, my name is Mike Elam. I am sitting in for Annie Fry today. The rest of the crew is all here. We are going to talk with Ryan Schmelz on the other side from Fox News Radio from Capitol Hill. Can't wait to hear what he's got to say to this, and so excited that I get to be here and chatting with you for the next 3 hours on 97.1 FM Talk.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
My friend Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage knows exactly what you need when it comes to acquiring your mortgage. Could be your mortgage that you're getting for the first time on a home you're looking to buy. It could also be a mortgage refinance on the home that you have right now. Consider the fact that rates have come down from their high highs, and consider the fact that the bagel loan, which is only available from Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage, means that you acquire that mortgage, whether it's on a new home or a mortgage refinance, you get it with no closing costs. That means you can go through the process of getting the lowest rate possible. That means you can go through the process of getting that brand new home, or go through the process of making sure that you're not paying that super high rate that you got in the last couple years. You lower your rate, you save money on not having to pay so much interest on the refinance, but also paying nothing in closing costs to make that smart financial decision. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. We are thrilled to announce that the Mid-America Carpenters Union is offering up to $10,000 cash to close to all McKelvey home buyers. Use these dollars for closing costs, upgrades, or buy down your interest rate. Don't miss this incredible opportunity to own a beautifully crafted home with McKelvey legendary quality. Act fast. This offer is first come, first serve. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
She learned the value of hard work and responsibility at her family's small business at an early age. Ann Wagner took those same hard-working Missouri values to Washington. She's made it her job to keep the radical left from harming your job. Today, in the midst of Joe Biden's out-of-control inflation, Ann Wagner protects us by working to lower costs for families. As a mother of 3, she understands the work and has done it to keep your home and community safe. That's why Ann Wagner fought to secure our border and stop traffickers from smuggling fentanyl and illegal immigrants into our communities, and why she gave law enforcement the tools they need to defend us. And Ann Wagner took a stand against the defund the police radicals who will leave us in harm's way. She'll always back our brave law enforcement officers, putting conservative values to work for us. Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is happening now. Tune in to the Annie Fry Show live stream. Vote and be a part of the conversation by typing in Annie Fry on YouTube. Subscribe and leave a comment. This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
It's the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk. My name is Mike Elam. Just if you didn't hear, we were looking for your YouTube live chat poll today. What is the most likely results of the presidential election? Kamala Harris wins the popular and the Electoral College. Trump wins the popular and Electoral College. Kamala Harris wins the popular. Trump wins the Electoral. Or Trump wins the popular and Kamala wins the Electoral. So you can get your votes in on that and let us know, what do you think the answer of that is going to be? I'm starting to feel a whole lot better about this election. I was getting worried there for a while, because it just felt like the Democrats were going to do what they did with Joe Biden, and they were going to hide her out in this case, like they did with Joe in 2000, where Joe didn't really have to answer any questions. He got soft interviews everywhere, and he really didn't have to do anything. The problem is Kamala can't even do the soft interviews. When she goes out and does the soft interviews, she still comes off as someone who has absolutely no substance.
Yeah, I don't understand. I forget who our guest was that we had on earlier this week, but they were talking about how she was, it's Tim Murtaugh from the Trump campaign.
Okay.
So he was on, and he was talking about how they asked her what she would do differently than the Biden administration. And she got 3 different shots at answering that question.
She did.
And she never answered it outside of saying, I think on The View, she was like, I don't think that there's anything that I would change. And they're like, let's try that again. And they went on to Colbert, and she kind of gave a word salad answer, and it was pretty much, no, we've had a lot of success. It's really interesting to watch her campaign, because what she's trying to do is run this campaign where she's both in charge and not in charge.
Exactly.
So she's trying to be like, hey, I'm running with the force of having been the vice president, but also I'm not responsible for any of the bad things that have happened under this administration.
I want to take full ownership of all the good stuff.
Right.
And I want to distance myself from all the bad stuff.
Yeah. And on interviews, she's like, I'm the last person in the room. You know, even you go back as far as, 2022, somebody asked her about the Afghanistan withdrawal, and she's like, yeah, I feel good about that. I was the last person in the room. on that. And you can't do that if you are trying to. She's both trying to separate herself and not separate herself from Joe Biden's campaign and his presidency, and it's just not working. And what's really interesting to me, too, is every time she tries to get that separation going, Joe Biden comes in and he's like, hey, we're singing from the same song sheet here.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, kid, you've been there with me the whole time. We've been in lockstep doing this whole thing together. And she's like, yeah, Joe, go take a nap.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you have some more milk and go away?
The thing about it that's so interesting to me is the reason she's trying to tap dance, it would seem, is that she doesn't have anything to offer of her own accord. So she does need some sort of legitimacy from having been the vice presidency. But it's been such an abject failure and disaster that she's like, I don't want to get too close to that because that's what everybody hated about Joe Biden.
I keep waiting, even for these softball interviews, because you would think her team is prepping her. And I don't know if she just doesn't get the prep or she doesn't understand the answers or where she's at on this stuff. But I keep waiting for them to say, hey, you were part of this stuff with Joe, and you can take credit on whatever you think was good, which I don't really see there. But let's just say you take credit for whatever you think has been a success to this point. But on the other side, where you say, on day one, I'm going to do this, I'm waiting for one of them to say, so is the administration, like Joe, keeping you from implementing that policy right now? Because J.D. Vance did a great job during the vice presidential debate of coming back to the fact of, hey, your first day was 1,300 days ago, right? You've been there for this whole time. That whole thing of, I'm the last person in the room. Well, I'm starting to understand the reason you were the last person in the room is because you were still sitting there trying to figure out what the hell's going on. So I'm sitting there trying to sort through what just happened, and everybody else finishes the meeting and walks out, and she's still sitting there with this perplexed look on her face trying to go, what the hell just happened? Did we do something? Should I have done something? I should probably go say something. No, maybe I shouldn't say something. She has no idea what is going on. And the more that they give her room, the worse her answers become. Because she just has zero substance of where she's going to go with any of this. And I found it funny that she was making fun of Trump when Trump was talking about during their debate that they have a plan in process. And she's like, what? You don't have a plan? Like, if you're going to get the stuff through Congress to where it's actually going to stick, you're not going to have a plan that's going to be fully vetted right now.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, like on that question specifically, is if you say you have a plan and this is what my plan is going to be and this is what we're going to do, that's not a plan. That's a campaign promise.
It is.
And so you do, like you were saying, you have to get that through Congress, you have to get that through the Senate, and then you have to sign it into law. I think that she was pressed on this a little bit by 60 Minutes where they were like, hey, so how are you going to get this funded?
Right.
And she didn't have anything for him on it.
No, because you can't fund that.
The developing a plan is part of the process-solving process, for lack of a better term. You look at a problem, you say, okay, what are some things that we can do? And then, especially if you're like in a group, you start brainstorming and everybody has these ideas and you start playing these plans out. So you start developing a plan. Being in the midst of a development of a plan is not a negative thing. It's proactive. The man's not president yet.
Right. Well, if you listen to Tim Waltz and his big line now is, well, I'm a former football coach, and as a football coach, if you put a playbook together, you're darn sure going to run those plays. And
no,
I'm
you're
like,
not.
I would tell you right now, it depends on what's the other team look like. And the other team in this case, I'm referring to the legislative branch. What's the House going to look like? What's the Senate going to look like? I feel good right now, moving forward as we sit here today on the 11th of October, to say, I think Trump's going to win, and he's going to have both houses. And I think the Senate, as we sit here right now, and this is me being a homer, so I get it,
Hey,
right?
We're on that station.
That's true. This is the crowd that we need to talk to. I really think we're going to be looking at 52 Republican senators. I think you're going to have a 52-48 split, and I'm including the independents that are going to caucus with the Democrats. So
52-48, yeah.
I think that's where we're going to be. The House, I don't know what that number is going to look like, but I think they're going to keep the House. I don't know if they're going to keep it long term. But I think they're going to have at least a couple of years. Do we have Ryan on the line?
It looks like we got him now.
Ryan Schmelz, how are you, sir?
Hold on, let me put him on.
Oh, hey, sorry about that. Ryan, how are you, sir?
There we go.
Fantastic.
Hey, happy Friday.
Hey, happy Friday. It's Mike and Brad from the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk. We appreciate you making some time for us today. Sorry we were
of course.
having a little trouble in connecting there. How's things in your world today at Fox News Radio?
Oh, good. Just finished up a podcast recording / segment that I'm doing with Chad Pergam that'll air tomorrow on hurricane relief and what a relief package may look like. So lots of moving parts here.
It seems like I've been following a lot of that hurricane relief that's going on. Man, the stories just keep getting worse because the flooding is still going on down there. And I saw they're doing even more water rescues right now because the rivers are now overflowing.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of problems. My parents actually live in Fort Myers. They were able to be safe, and they didn't get any major damage, fortunately. But if we want to have a positive thing that came out of this, one of our Fox affiliate hosts, Mark Starling, over in Asheville, actually was featured on CBS Evening News for the work that he did with one of his co-hosts, where they actually were pretty much the only line of communication through their AM network. And, they helped, established help centers, help people get in contact because they weren't able to, call in a certain, cell service was out. So it was a pretty phenomenal thing what they did in terms of stepping up for the people of Asheville and North Carolina and getting people reunited and all that.
That's amazing. That's a great story.
Yeah, I retweeted earlier, so definitely go check it out. It's pretty heroic what they were able to do, and they're not going to take any credit for it, but what they did was awesome.
We're talking with Brian Schmelz. He is Fox News Radio, Capitol Hill, and White House correspondent. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit because I'm hearing that Fox News is trying to get a last-minute debate done.
We did, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Trump put out a statement yesterday saying that he was not going to do it. Actually, one of his justifications was that since Vice President Harris said on The View that she would not do anything differently than President Biden, he thinks that there is no need to have a debate now because she's answered all the questions she needs to. So I don't know. We could debate the truth of that statement, but the reality is that's one of the reasons he's justifying really not having another debate with Vice President Harris. And he is claiming victory for both the first debate as well as the debate between J.D. Vance and Tim Walz.
So we were talking right before you joined us about the fact that Kamala Harris is seeming to try to have everything both ways, where she wants to say, hey, I've got all these new ideas, and day one I'm going to do this. But when she gets asked on shows, those hard-hitting news shows like The View, and they say, what would you do different than Joe Biden? And she's like, really, I can't think of anything. How does she get herself out of that pickle?
It's hard to know. I mean, she's tried to do it through policy and laying out her specific plans, which, in some ways do contrast from President Biden's agenda. And then she's kind of tried to do it that way. But at the same time, yes, she's refused to throw President Biden under the bus. And that's kind of one of the big question marks. It's like, okay, well, if President Biden's polling as poorly as he is, but you're trying to find that balance of, separate yourself from President Biden, but, don't completely separate yourself from President Biden because, you want to attach yourself to some of the things from the administration. This is one of the things she struggled with. And, many will argue they've run a pretty solid campaign, up until this point. But this has been one thing they've struggled with. You have a little bit of a setback, maybe not a major one, from the vice presidential debate where J.D. Vance came off very strong. But B, Harris has these moments. And there's a possibility this View, some people believe this View appearance could really be, taken up by the Trump campaign and utilized, and it could be one of those lasting images if they don't win on Election Day. So that was kind of a little bit of a setback where she is, struggling, it looks like, to really find out if she's different from President Biden, but also, she's refused to really aggressively separate herself because she doesn't want to criticize him.
Are you hearing from the Harris campaign as to where they want to go with her on these this last month of the campaign?
Well, we started off in Arizona this week. That's where she's made her latest appearance. It looks like, Nevada, I think, is going to be the next stop for the Harris campaign. But, based off the Fox News polling that we have, we've got a number of battleground states that are still up as rated as toss-ups. And it's a lot of the ones you'd expect. But, when we did our individual polling of Arizona, Harris is doing very well in that state. And, there's a possibility she could be the winner. And that was a state that was supposed to be a shoo-in for Republicans years ago. So there's a benefit to putting extra time in Arizona because, there's also a Senate race there where Democrats are actually polling very well in. And Democrats feel that, if they're able to pull that off, you get a double whammy. You get the presidency in that race, and you also get you keep that seat blue for the Democrats. But if they're going to be specifically staying there more than other states, I'm not quite sure. I think Pennsylvania has become kind of the one, maybe like the new Ohio, where we expect a lot of campaigning there because it's kind of viewed as maybe the biggest state now and the most important state because Ohio's kind of trended red as has Florida. But I would expect, Pennsylvania, Michigan to be big spots for them. But then, I don't know if they're going to really prioritize Georgia and Arizona as well. But I think those would probably be the big four I would expect to see a lot of time spent in, as well as Wisconsin. That's one other thing to add. They're doing their Blue Wall bus tour, which means the Blue Wall, a lot of Midwest. So expect over the next week or so a lot of campaigning in Wisconsin as well as Michigan.
How much, if any, do you think these Senate races are going to bleed into the presidential races in those swing states?
Well, I think somebody pointed out recently that there has not been a Senate race where, in a long time, maybe there's been one, where the state goes the opposite direction of how they vote in the Senate. So Susan Collins is probably, I believe, the only recent example where a Republican won a statewide election for the Senate, and then the presidency went for somebody else. So, it seems like the Senate race could bleed over in Montana where, former President Trump is expected to win by a pretty hefty margin. And you've seen the polling kind of separate from John Tester in that state where this is probably Republicans' best chance of flipping the Senate completely and getting to 51 instead of having to worry about a 50-50 tie. And I also think, the one I think is going to be the most interesting will be Ohio, because former President Trump is polling very well in that state. He's expected to win by a decent margin. Could be tight. We'll see. But Sherrod Brown looks like he has the polling advantage. We have it rated as a toss-up, but, Sherrod Brown might be a slight favorite right now. I think that's the one where you're going to see a major implication of, does the presidential race bleed over into a Senate race? And that's kind of what we have to wait and see.
I'm curious. I think West Virginia, everybody pretty well assumes is going to go Republican. Yeah. So that's going to be a flip seat. Montana, it looks like could very well be a flip seat. Is that what gets you to 51 or does that get you to 52?
Yeah, that's the easiest way to get to 51. Yeah, 51. So West Virginia likely to flip already. I mean, it's almost a done deal from what it looks like. That'll be 50-50. Then if Montana flips, and just judging by all the polling you see out there, this is Republicans' second best chance at a guaranteed flip, which is to go for Montana. So that would make it 51 to 49. And then there's a couple other ones that Republicans are doing decent in terms of polling. It would probably be, Ohio would be the next best chance at a flip. And then you're probably looking at maybe Pennsylvania or Wisconsin for the best chances after that.
For everything that I've heard so far, the reach seems to be 53. That's about all that they think they're going to be able to get to as a reach. 51 seems to be the number like you were talking about, how they think they're going to get there. A lot of people that I'm hearing from think 52 is going to be that number. And from everything that I've kind of heard, that seems to be the big thing that people want to hold on to. They've got to win the Senate because the Senate is going to be the stopgap. Even if Trump doesn't win, it's going to stop a lot of stuff that could really come back to hurt them. But what are you hearing about the House?
Well, the reality is, and one more thing on the Senate first, and that's that the one thing that's holding Republicans back here, it seems to be fundraising and candidate quality. There were a couple of states where they did not get maybe the ideal A-plus candidate they wanted. Wisconsin, I think, is a good example where Mike Gallagher chose not to run. And just fundraising has been a huge issue for Republicans. It has held a lot of them back from being able to travel the entire state in certain cases, and that's been a huge burden. Nevada, Sam Brown, that's a good example of that. Now, getting to the House, this is so complicated because this could really go any way, and there's so many little factors that play into the House. And I think, when you talk to operatives in both parties and they say, oh, we're confident, they're always going to say that. But then sometimes you can tell when they're kind of misleading or they're just it's fake optimism. But, both sides here, they've got reason to be optimistic. And it is a fascinating House map. I think the one thing I would point out, if we're going to look at the Midwest and if there's any indication, the one thing that might have Republicans worried about how the House could go is that you have Iowa, a state that has been trending red. Republicans have won big in multiple statewide elections over multiple election cycles. The two House candidates there in swing districts did very well in 2022. You have Marionette Miller Meeks. She won her seat in 2020 by 6 votes, and then she won by a pretty hefty margin in 22. Well, now you've got 2 seats there. One's lean R, the other's been moved from likely R to a toss-up. And, Democrats probably weren't expecting to be competitive there, but now it's very competitive for Democrats, and that's a good sign. And then, New York was probably going to be the state that we were all watching for on election night because there's about 5 or 6 competitive seats there. Well, one big issue, you have a Republican in that state who is now facing Anthony D'Esposito. He's facing accusations that he put his mistress on his congressional payroll. And so he could have a huge ethics case that might, put his race in jeopardy. And you've got a number of other you've got Republicans who are defending pretty blue areas or very toss-up areas. So it's just a very competitive state, and it could be the indication of where the night's going to go. But one more thing on the House I want to point out is that you have a number of Democrats who were defending House seats that we thought were likely going to go blue and that they were going to have a pretty easy time cruising the reelection. Well, those members decided to run for bigger seats in the Senate. Alyssa Slotkin in Michigan, Abigail Spanberger in Virginia is running for governor. Then you have Katie Porter in California who ran for Senate and lost, and David Trone in Maryland who gave up his seat because he decided to run for Senate and ultimately lost. Those seats went from being likely Democrat ones to now very competitive seats. So it's kind of like that's the thing where the little things like that are contributing to whether or not Republicans are going to be able to hold on to the House or ultimately lose it.
The good news for you is you've got great job security going on right now, man. There is so much to keep tabs on, and we appreciate you doing that. And if you're good with it, we'd love to check back with you over the course of the next month and just keep tabs on what's going on.
Oh, I would love that. I love coming on this show, and no matter who hosts it, it's always a great time and always a lot of fun.
Well, Ryan, we appreciate your time this time. Hope you have a fantastic weekend.
Hey, same to you, my friend. Thank you.
That is Ryan Schmelz from Fox News Radio, Capitol Hill and White House correspondent. There is a lot going on, and we are going to play a little fun game on the other side of this. A game that, to be honest with you, I always suck at, and it is the Bee or not the Bee. Ryan Wiggins is coming back in with us on Wiggins America. I'm Mike Elam, sitting in for Annie Fry today on 97.1 FM Talk.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Are you tired of feeling sick and tired? I'm Dr. Nick Barnes of Health from Within Family Chiropractic. Our simple 5-step approach aligns your health naturally. We correct spinal abnormalities to maximize nerve supply, focus on pure and simple nutrition, exercise and oxygen, mindset, and minimizing toxins in your body. Transform your health today with Health from Within, conveniently located on Manchester in Rock Hill or online at healthfromwithinstl.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house, and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years. Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO. Easy to remember phone number. Or go online today at 877-25RHINO.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for New Perspective Senior Living in Weldon Spring. This brand new facility offers state-of-the-art independent or assisted living and memory care. New Perspective Weldon Spring is redefining senior living. Visit npseniorliving.com to schedule a tour today.
Well, we're going to bump Wiggins America. I'm loath to say that, but we are going to do it to give Be or Not to Be a little more time. But stick around. We've got a video from Barack Obama that you definitely want to not only hear, but if you can see it. We kind of went back and forth on this. We think seeing it is probably the better way to go, although you will hear it if you're just listening to the radio. So tune in to the Annie Fry Show on YouTube right now and subscribe, of course, and then vote in today's poll. It is 12:51. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
You can help those affected by this disastrous hurricane season by visiting redcross.org or calling 1-800-RED-CROSS. Message and data rates apply. Together we can help those who've been affected. Thanks for helping. Conservatives care on 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
So I hate to bump Wiggins America back to next hour, but I also don't want to shortchange Wiggins America because it's always one of my favorite things.
Yeah, we've got some good Be or Not to Be today.
I'm looking forward to that because, like I said, I normally suck at this game, but I always learn something, and it's fun to play. But we went long with Ryan just talking about stuff, but he was talking about where he thinks the Senate's going to end up, and it's looking like the Republicans are going to win the Senate. The question's going to be, is it going to be 51, 52, 53 seats that they own at that point? But it looks like the House is much more in play and looks really competitive in some areas that they didn't expect it to be competitive. Both ways, by the way. Mm-hmm. It looks like the Democrats are going to end up being competitive in areas like Iowa that he was talking about that they didn't expect. But then it looks like the Republicans are going to end up being competitive in other areas that they didn't expect. And both reasons, both parties put up candidates that aren't the best candidates. You know, candidate quality is a big deal when you're trying to win seats, especially flip seats. So that's a big deal. So tell me a little bit about this Obama
Okay, so
thing.
Barack Obama hit the campaign trail for Kamala Harris, and we have this video basically that sums up his speech from last night in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And
So for on YouTube, you can see this.
You
right
can
now.
watch it, yeah.
Before you hit play here, just to set this up, he's at a campaign rally. Now, if you're on our YouTube page, you can see this, and it's really funny to watch, which is why we don't want to do the video. Yeah. But if you're just listening to it, this is edited.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is edited.
He didn't just say it over and over again.
This is a supercut. This is a supercut. This is basically a summary of his speech.
This is a CBS News edit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Trump, Donald 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 Trump for Trump, Donald Trump, Trump, Donald Trump, Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Trump.
I love the pause. And
you don't realize how much he talks with his hands until you see something like that.
And if you're listening on the radio, it turns out to be really good when you just see him with all of these mannerisms that Ryan's talking about. And then the pause and the shaking of the head. Donald Trump. Trump. Donald Trump.
So that was a pro-Harris speech about Donald Trump.
It's one of those kind of things where it just feels like all over again. Like 2020, I felt like nobody voted for Joe Biden. There were 0 votes for Joe Biden. You were either voting for Donald Trump or against Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. And that just felt like where it is. It feels like this is that 2.0.
Yes.
Here we go again.
The question is will it stick? Is that still an effective campaign strategy for the Democrats? And
yeah, because in 2020, you didn't know what you were getting into.
Well,
now you know what you got into.
Yeah,
right?
It's like, this is what we did. And things were pretty bad. I mean, there was the pandemic going on, and that's just tough for anybody else. But, yeah, I don't know. Is Donald Trump like living by a railroad track at this point where you just get used to the noise?
I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with her to protect her. Because you're at that last point where something's got to happen. She's got to go out. She's got to do something.
She's changing her strategy.
I think they're changing the strategy because they're seeing the numbers change.
I do too.
And she's going in the wrong direction. Trump's going in the right direction, which is why I feel optimistic. And I don't know, man. In the words of Jesse Jackson, keep hope alive. We'll see how this plays out. We're going to play to be the bee or not the bee. On the other side, it's the Annie Fry Show. Mike Elam sitting in for Annie today on 97.1 FM Talk.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile. And you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Fall is a great time to upgrade your backyard, your patio, or your deck with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Mark Cox here for my friends at Chesterfield Fence. Right now, you can get 20% off your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck by just mentioning my name. They would love to come out and talk to you about upgrading that patio, maybe getting a nice chimney built back there to sit outside this fall and enjoy it. Maybe you need a new deck or a sunroom or an all-season room. These are all things that Chesterfield Fence and Deck can do, and they've been doing it since 1968. Locally owned and operated for all those years. If you've got their sign in your yard, it is the sign you have the very best, and it's a great time to take advantage of that. They'll come out, they'll talk to you about the financing, they'll talk to you about the free project design they can do for you, and show you an extensive digital photo gallery of completed projects. Call them at 636-532-4054 or go online to chesterfieldfence.com.
Hi, Charles Pan here at one of the exciting Money Show events where I'm presenting the keynote, broadcasting my live TV show, and best of all, giving away free copies of my newest book, Unbreakable Investor. It's a $29.95 value, but if you act now, I'll give you one too.
For your free copy of Charles Payne's new book, Unbreakable Investor, text WIN to 505-505 and just cover shipping. Text WIN to 505-505. Text WIN to 505-505.
I'm handing you my investing playbook, 348 pages on how I personally invest to target the biggest returns while mitigating risk. It's how I've been with the market so I never break. Guidance so crucial for today's investors that I'm covering the cost of the book and giving you a copy for free.
To get your free copy of Charles Payne's new book, Unbreakable Investor, text the word WIN to 505-505 and just cover shipping. Text WIN to 505-505 while supplies last. Text WIN to 505-505 right now.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The president's heading to Florida. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The White House just confirming President Biden will visit areas impacted by Hurricane Milton on Sunday, following recent trips to Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas after Hurricane Helene. Taking questions during a White House hurricane meeting a short time ago, the president also telling reporters he thinks his message on misinformation is breaking through.
If you noticed, and I've really been proud, I've been on the phone and talking to a lot of Republican mayors and governors. They're standing up saying this is not Joe Biden, but conservative, hardcore Republican governors, hardcore Republican mayors standing up and saying it's got to stop.
He accuses former President Trump of spreading lies about the federal storm response. Trump accuses the Biden administration of mismanagement, especially in hard-hit North Carolina. President Biden says by some estimates, damage from Hurricane Milton alone could hit $50 billion. Water rescues continue in some flooded parts of Florida today, 2 days after landfall. Tampa Mayor Jane Castor.
We still have some flooding down in South Tampa. We still have a number of roadways that are flooded. We're just so saturated that there is no place for that rainwater to go in some areas.
Utility crews have made more than 1 million restorations. Over 2 million customers remain without power. President Biden says he's asking Israel not to hit UN peacekeepers after 2 were injured by Israeli soldiers targeting Hezbollah in South Lebanon. Israel says those injuries were not intentional and are under review. Major League Baseball just moving up the timing of tomorrow night's decisive Game 5 of the AL Division Series between Detroit and Cleveland over the chance of bad weather. That'll now be an afternoon game just after 1 Eastern. America is listening to Fox News.
Did you know every 3 seconds someone is a victim of identity theft? LifeLock wants to give you helpful tips to protect your identity this Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Adding multi-factor authentication, like a text with a security code, is one way to boost your security. But for comprehensive protection, trust LifeLock. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal info and steps in to resolve issues that arise, guaranteed or your money back. Protect yourself with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The non-October feel will take us right through Friday afternoon. Sunny skies, 84 for the high. Tonight, clear skies, 70s for evening plans, 61 for the low. Saturday, sunny skies, 87 for the high. Clear skies, 60 Saturday night. Sunday, we start a cool down, sunny and 75. 48 Sunday night, 62 Monday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hey, it's time to stop by the Diamond Shop in Clayton this October because all month long they have 50% off all diamond studs. Along with the diamond stud purchase, this is such a cool thing that is done by the Diamond Shop. Learn more at thediamondshop.net. All October long, they have their trade-in and trade-up event. All diamond studs purchased at the Diamond Shop are eligible for the trade-up event. Here's how it works. You spend $1 or more, and your entire purchase price of your diamond studs will be credited towards your new purchase when you trade them in. Plus, this October 17th, mark this on your calendar for anybody who is getting engaged. If you know somebody who's getting engaged, tell them about the Diamond Shop's Sip and Shop event, Thursday, October 17th. Here's how it works. With every engagement ring sold during the event that are going to be 30% off that night, you are going to get a $100 credit towards your future purchase of a wedding band. Save on beautiful jewelry at The Diamond Shop, located in Clayton, online at thediamondshop.net.
Experience the beauty of custom-crafted windows that enhance your home's aesthetics and energy efficiency. Look no further than Infinity from Marvin, proudly brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. Why choose Infinity? These windows are not just strong, they're 8 times stronger than vinyl, providing unmatched security for your home. Plus, with Lakeside's expert installation, you're guaranteed precision and perfection. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today. Elevate your home with Infinity from Marvin, where strength meets style.
Sweet chocolate reward. Sweet chocolate reward.
This is not just the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat at Walgreens. This is the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat right after receiving all their vaccines in one trip. This is the sound of treating yourself, because you protected yourself.
Stop by or schedule both your flu and COVID-19 vaccines today and grab yourself a sweet treat while you're at it. Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or diabetes, you're at higher risk of being hospitalized from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Mark Cox here. I have put together my 2024 general election voters guide with you in mind. The direction of our nation and our state is in your hands now. Visit 971talk.com to see the Mark Cox 2024 voter guide.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
It's the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk. It's Mike Elam sitting in today for Annie Fry. We're doing the Missouri side of the Illinois show because, you know, everybody in the Annie Fry Show is Metro East folks. So they decided to bring the St. Charles guy in to add balance to everything. We cross both sides of the river.
That's why we have you.
You're not alone on the St. Charles side.
Well, that's true.
We're rolling
you
together, you and me.
You weren't in here before, so we have two St. Charles, two Illinois guys. It's balanced all the way across
he's
the metro
originally
area.
from Illinois, so it kind of tilts it back, doesn't it?
Don't acknowledge that part of my life.
It makes him the smart one. He got out.
Yeah.
This is true.
I point to it this way. When the young man got married, he moved to St. Charles. So I'm just saying, when he's trying to put down roots and grow a family, which I know he's going to do, he's chosen to move to the promised land, i.e. St. Charles County. Which,
the wild,
by the way,
Wild West.
We just crossed over 300,000 registered voters in St. Charles County leading up to this election.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. I mean, of the 420,000 people that we have living there, 300,000 of them are registered to vote. The others are probably under 18. So that's probably where we're at. They're like, you get in there and register to vote. Here's how this thing is going to work.
Cool. Great to hear how St. Charles is so fun and young and growing and thriving.
Yeah, not being oppressed by taxes and Second Amendment violations. And
actually, we're not being sarcastic. It's actually great to hear.
Yeah, we're super excited for you and bitter.
Yeah, we're just bitter.
There's a lot of great stuff happening in Metro East. They're doing better than Chicago.
That's
I'm just trying to add perspective.
Hey,
let's
Mike,
put a good bow on it.
This is the knife that you just put right in my back.
Sorry about that. I'll pull that out. Hey, we're going to play the bee or not the bee here in just a second, but I was just scrolling through some news stories, and I saw that Vogue has a new cover with Kamala Harris that is out because I'm a big Vogue reader.
Vogue usually leans right. That's weird.
You do give off Vogue vibes to me.
Me and Madonna.
Yeah.
It's pretty much we are Vogue, right? It just said that she posed for her glamour shots. My words, not theirs. They posed for her Vogue cover shoot on the anniversary of Hamas attacking Israel of October 7th. So while they're celebrating, I shouldn't say celebrating, mourning, I guess, the anniversary of Hamas attacking Israel, Vice President Harris is out doing a Vogue shoot. It's her compassionate side is what
it's
really
just
people
adding to it, because can a presidential candidate do a whole bunch of things in one day, even on October 7th? Absolutely. When you have the track record that she has, every little thing matters, because her track record on supporting Israel in this particular conflict alone is terrible.
It just goes to show when she says, I'm here to support Israel, not really. I'm more interested in how good do I look on the cover of Vogue rather than supporting you on this horrible day.
Netanyahu's going to speak to a joint session of Congress. I'm not going to show up.
I got a photo shoot that I got to go do.
Exactly.
Maybe
I'm going to a sorority deal that day.
Maybe
that's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what she did that day.
Maybe she was trying to honor Israel by being in the photo shoot. Huh? Anyone?
Speaking of the bee or not the bee, that sounds like a story that would fit right up.
Thanks for the segue.
Let's talk about the bee.
Wiggins!
Wiggins!
And here you go.
The bee or not the bee.
Okay, a series of stories as we do every Friday.
By the way, love that new intro from the last time I was here.
That was the same one? Is that what you're saying? New intro as the last time you were here?
Exactly.
Okay. These are stories that are, some of them are fake from the Babylon Bee. Some of them are real. And the name of the game is naming which ones are the real ones. So here you go.
It's your version of CBS News.
Humanoid robots are ready to move into your home.
I'm going to say that's a real story.
Yeah, didn't Elon Musk just release those? I'm going to say real.
Yeah, I'm rolling real as well.
It is real. It's from Fox News. Meet Neo Beta, your new home companion. I think the reason I led with this is basically the premise of my novel.
It is.
The Life of Human is what it's called. Neo Beta stands at 5.41 feet tall and weighs a mere 66 pounds, making it an unobtrusive presence in your home. But it's like a person walking around who's a robot. This bipedal robot can walk at a comfortable 2.5 miles per hour and even run at an impressive 7.5 miles per hour.
I don't want my assistant robot to be able to run or move fast. I think they should all move slowly.
With a carrying capacity of 44 pounds and a runtime of 2 to 4 hours, Neo Beta is well equipped to handle your various household tasks.
7 miles an hour?
It can run from your laundry room to upstairs.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know where it's running to, but it can run and it will walk. And it apparently, this is the first time I've seen, this is why I led with this one. First time I've ever seen an actual robot that's going to do your chores.
Right.
We've always said, that would be the dream, wouldn't it? And now it's here and you're like, wait a minute.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I have a feeling it may kill me in my sleep. But
I saw iRobot and I read a Life of Human. I know it can happen.
You know it can happen.
Good luck outrunning it.
So there you go. That one is real. Next one. Democrats perplexed why candidate nobody ever voted for is slipping in the polls.
That was a story that I think that we just talked about.
Yeah, it's funny how much we did this in the first hour.
I'm going to say that's real.
Yeah, it's the B.
I'm going to go the B, but this one could also very well be real.
It is the B. According to House Leader Hakeem Jeffries, Democrats find it completely inexplicable why their candidate, who was never legally nominated and did not receive one single primary vote, is struggling to connect with voters. It just doesn't make sense, Jeffries said in a late-night campaigning struggle session with the Harris PR team. We've done everything we can to get this woman into a position of popularity. Truck stop videos of her eating Doritos, fake posters, technically not Kamala, but fake posters in Philadelphia saying that the Eagles support her. I just don't understand why she's not doing well in the polls. I mean, she didn't get any votes from anybody, even at our convention, but surely they can make too much of a difference, right? What's going on here?
I don't know if I've ever heard a bee story that was so close to feeling real.
That could be a story from an opinion column
obviously,
on Fox or something.
There's a little bit of sarcasm,
right?
Obviously, but that was pretty darn close to feeling really real.
So that story sounded very similar to a James Carville interview that I heard earlier this morning, where he was like, "She's not doing well. We've got it. I'm sick and tired of this stuff getting out here."
Thank you, James Carville.
Thank you. You didn't know we had him as a special guest, did you?
That was a spot-on impression, wasn't it?
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. To save time, Chicago Nightly News just going to report names of people not shot that day.
That's the B.
That is the B.
That's the B.
Tonight, we are happy to report that Dave Jenkins and Carol Smith have not been shot, said one reporter.
That's it?
And yeah, I guess that's it. We're done here. According to Milton Jameson, senior editor of the Chicago Nightly, the previous model of reporting the names of the citizens who were getting shot was simply too far of a labor-intensive and unsustainable task to continue. Next one. JD, thank you for comparing the Metro East to Chicago at the beginning of the
Sorry,
segment.
Yeah, man.
I said you were doing better than Chicago.
And I just gave you the bar we have to go over. JD Vance starts new racist lie to attack immigrant children.
Oh, that's got to be the B.
I'm going B.
Hit it.
This is... Oh, no, this is real. This is real.
Oh, no.
It's from the New Republic.
It's from CBS.
I kid you not. So I pulled the quotes from this article that they quoted. This isn't, my finding the actual quote. They actually put these in the article. Here's the quotes that they're basing that headline on. J.D. Vance says, the other thing that is crazy about the border is that in the state of Michigan, I didn't know this statistically until today, there are 85,000 students in Michigan public schools who are the children of illegal aliens, Vance claimed. 85,000. Now think about that. Think about what it does to a school teacher or poor school teacher who's just trying to get by with what they have, trying to educate their kids, and then you drop in a few dozen kids into that school, many of whom don't even speak English, Vance said. Do you think that's good for the education of American citizens? No, it's not. That's the quote. Let me read the headline again. J.D. Vance starts new racist lie to attack immigrant children.
That sounds like he was just quoting stats that's actually happening.
So what's the correct stat that they're saying that made it a lie?
They didn't.
Oh, no.
Sorry, we're not referencing that.
That is the fullness of the quote. Now, you'd think if there was more to this, that they were like, this is where he really gets, they would include that. They didn't.
Yeah. Where did it get racist?
There is nothing in this that is racist, and here's why I bring this up. If you want to have a real discussion about solving problems, people like this are who you're discussing the problems with.
You can't get
They're
to
not talking about the issue at all.
Yeah.
You can't discuss solving an issue when somebody leads with, well, you're a racist, and then the school teacher and the administration's going, no, actually, this actually is a problem.
Right.
And they go, well, you are racist too. Everybody's a racist.
It's funny how, when he says that many don't speak English, and there's a lot of them that are automatically going to refer and say, well, he's just talking about those Hispanic kids. And it's like, wait. You have people from all over the world who are invading our border, invading our country, and ending up in these schools. They speak languages, in some cases, you've never even heard of before. This is not like they're just speaking Spanish or something.
Right. To your point, whenever Annie and I went down to the border last year, we asked the people at Catholic Charities, where are you seeing the most people from? And they're like, right now, it's Ukraine.
Yeah.
These are people that are fleeing Ukraine, going to the southern border, and crossing illegally to get asylum.
You have people who are coming from Africa in small countries there that speak tribal languages. That's why I'm getting into some of these languages are languages you've never even heard of before. Now, I'm not saying those are massive, millions of people, but it just gives you the scope of you can have, Eastern European, you could have Hispanic, but you could have tribal languages that are all coming in and invading your public schools, and the teacher, God love them, is having this sit down in front of them and say, you have to teach them. I don't know how you're going to do that, but you have to teach them.
This isn't just happening in Michigan. This is happening everywhere. It's happening right here.
It is.
You can talk to, we are all married to school teachers. Brad and Annie and I are all married to school teachers. They all in the communities. They know teachers who are struggling with this.
Yep.
Now, my wife teaches at a private school, so they're not, they're smaller, but they're not. They know people who are dealing with it all over the St. Louis area, both Missouri and Illinois. And it is primarily Hispanic kids speaking Spanish.
It is.
So I'm not going to run from that. That's a fact. That's actually happening. And he's referencing that. Now, he doesn't even say, but like you said, he doesn't say what language.
No, he said different languages.
People not speaking English. It's real. It's really happening everywhere. He's giving you real stats. One last thing here, and maybe we break and we can just come back and finish it. But the headline again, J.D. Vance starts new racist lie to attack immigrant children. The subhead to that, after I just read that quote to you, J.D. Vance just put a target on the back of every brown child in Michigan.
There you go. Boy. So not even knowing that that's the subtext of the headline, I just felt that would be the implication, because that's where they go. Because if you're going to say racist, you know what's amazing? Some races, they don't put under that headline. Like, I have a friend of mine who's the chairman of the Asian American Chamber of Commerce, right? We have an awful lot of Asian folks who have chosen to live in the St. Louis metropolitan area. They work really hard and they're very entrepreneurial. A lot of them start their own businesses. They're very self-sustaining. And when they do get into your public schools, they tend to bring the GPA up. That's a broad statement now, right? But that education is very important to them. Generally, you don't hear people refer to, if you talk about Asian Americans, that you're being racist. There are some groups that are not your traditional whites that you could talk about them and people won't call you a racist. There are others that if you just talk about the same context, but you're talking about a different race, automatically you're a racist. I'm like, why is that? Why is one, you're talking about minority populations, because the Asian population in St. Louis Metro is actually smaller than the Hispanic population, but not by much. And it's funny how one, you're racist talking about that, the other, you're not.
And final point on it is leftist institutions, major leftist institutions have decided that actually racism is okay against some of those groups.
Yes.
AKA Harvard.
Exactly.
They were discriminating against Asian Americans exclusively. And that, I don't even think about that. But the J.D. Vance says this, that's racist.
Oh, geez. Welcome to America, everybody. So that's Wiggins America. My name is Mike Elam, sitting in for Annie Fry today. The big show rolls on next here at 97.1 FM Talk.
Fit me, tell me love how you put it on.
Attention, Missouri residents in need of care at home. If you have Medicaid and need assistance with daily activities, you can receive free in-home care from a loved one, funded by Medicaid with no cost to you. Freedom Care, Missouri's #1 home care provider, gives you the power to choose who provides your care, and they get paid instantly. Imagine your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift. Freedom Care has over 5,000 five-star Google reviews and is #1 in Missouri for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's 100% free to you, go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-3027. That's 314-557-3027. 314-557-3027.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
Surprise!
Surprise!
You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired. Like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
Life is challenging and ever-changing. Take control with passive income through real estate investing. Learn how. Learn now. Let Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited's investors and mentors show you. Meet Del's team live in St. Louis. 2 days only at the Hilton Frontenac, Saturday and Sunday, November 9th and 10th. Register now at DelHelpMeNow.com. That's DelHelpMeNow.com. Enter promo code 2024 for a special discount offer. DelHelpMeNow.com. Code 2024.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Is yours? Did you know that there's an R value associated with insulation? To find out your R value or for free insulation estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Carl Cannon.
If you're a Democrat, here's your fear. That pollsters haven't still got it right, and that he's going to outperform his polls the same way he did in 2016 and 2020. And if he does that, the Republicans are going to win.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. This is the Annie Fry Show.
It's the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk. You know, I found out Ryan had more B stories. And if it's okay with you guys, can we keep rolling and do a few more of those? I feel like we only got through like 3 or 4 of those stories.
Is it okay with me if we continue Wiggins America? I think so, Mike.
Tune in for more stupid questions asked by Mike that already know the answer to.
Yeah, this might be the longest Be or Not to Be we've ever done. But these are actually like talkable subjects too.
That last one was a very much relatable subject that we could have just talked through without Wiggins America.
When I found that story, I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
I know.
It's become a trope already to refer to any talk about immigration in the last month, especially as well. That's racist,
right?
You know, you're going to an election. They're just trying to find anything they can against these people.
The trope, but I mean that's kind of the left wing strategy. If a Republican talks about it, let's call them racist. They're racist. So anything like they start with the premise that you're a racist, and then if you say anything about anything, they're like, well, that was based out of racism.
Yeah.
Why? Well, because I know you're a racist already.
Yeah,
because I'm working under the assumption that you're already a racist.
Inductive reasoning. I start with the end point and then I work my way backwards.
Well, that is very true. I mean, I brought up the Harvard example, and there's lots of other random examples of a Democrat representative from Ohio said something was really racist, but it doesn't really fit. Like, we know they're not really racist, so we're not going to run with that.
They just misspoke.
But if it's a Republican random representative from Ohio, it's like, ooh, let's make that national news.
Exactly.
Because it already fits our pre-existing condition.
It's that expression of, I've got my story straight, don't confuse me with facts.
Pre-existing condition.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah.
I like that.
All right, more Be or Not to Be stories. Again, I'm going to read the headline. You tell me whether this is fake, the Babylon Bee, or it's real.
Is Ethan coming back, or is he done?
It's up to him.
Okay.
He actually quit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's done.
Just like that.
He walked out.
He was done. Okay. No return players. Sorry. Once you exit the premise, you are not allowed to re-enter.
This is not hockey. You can't come back in.
That's it.
It's baseball. You're out.
You went to the smoking area.
Kamala wants to help with hurricane relief, but DeSantis refuses to tell her where Florida is.
I'm going to go B.
That is correct. This is the Babylon Bee. According to sources close to the situation, Harris showed perfectly good faith by calling DeSantis to offer her assistance to the people of Florida, but was rudely refused after DeSantis wouldn't even give her a single hint as to where Florida is located on a map. Quote from Kamala, "I holistically tried to get him to tell me, but he couldn't take the joy."
He couldn't take the joy.
Kamala complained in a press conference. And then I asked him to give me the first letter of the state or states that might be around Florida, and he wouldn't do that either. What's with this jerk? I'm just trying to help, and all he wants to do is play politics. I'm from a middle-class family.
I'm from a middle-class family that was hit by a hurricane tornado.
So there you go. That's the Babylon Bee. Tell me whether... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Can I just say, I don't know that I have ever seen a governor handle disasters better than DeSantis. I mean, the guy has been. I don't remember the last time you had 2 hurricanes hit in less than a month.
It was like 2004.
he is just lined up everything. The press conferences and everything that I've heard him do. He walks in going, I'm in charge. Here's how this is going to happen. We've got this done, this done, this done, this done. And that's before the hurricane hit.
Well, it's like he's got a plan A, B, and C. He's like, okay, if it lands here, this is what we're going to do. These are the most likely scenarios of what happens when this hits, so we will need to respond in this manner. Ryan and I were talking about this before the show today. I have never seen a governor in general understand the nuts and bolts of wielding power and governing better than Ron DeSantis.
He does an amazing job.
We were having this conversation this morning. If you took, and again here, if you take R&D off of the labels of governors and politicians and everybody, and you just judge them on this standard, nobody's going to be perfect. First of all, this is a hurricane. We've said that about Milton. You know, in light of FEMA and all these things, nobody is going to handle this stuff perfectly. These are mega natural disasters.
Right.
But if you took away all the other junk from what you already think about people, a lot of these governors do a pretty good job in the midst of this, and DeSantis is absolute top of the heap.
I got to tell you, one of the things that has happened from this has kind of opened my eyes to how governors work together, right? Is I heard Glenn Youngkin yesterday doing an interview, and he was talking about the fact that, so there is I guess it's an internal states sharing site where when you have a state that is facing a disaster, they can put on there, hey, we need boom, 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 and they can list it all out. And the other governors can send materials and people or whatever they need to that state to help out. And DeSantis put all this stuff on there beforehand, and Youngkin was going through, hey, you've got governors from like 20 states that have all sent material, people, all kinds of things to the state of Florida before the hurricane hit that said, we are here, ready for you, whatever you need, we're ready to jump in, based on everything that he had pre-asked for.
Yes. What's really interesting about that is you can see that sort of happening, especially like with linesmen and stuff like that. Yep. I live near a highway, a major highway, that, you know, you would take 64 to get down to, you know, Florida from our area. But there's hotels that are dotted along the highway. And it's really interesting to see, okay, you're doing that, and then you're seeing power line trucks lined up at these hotels on their way down to help out. My niece, I was over at her house last night, and their neighbor was telling me, he goes, yeah, we've got tons of people that are lined up and ready to go. We're sending people down now. Sometimes we have to wait so that we know it's safe for them to get into wherever.
Right.
But they do it. And like with Ron DeSantis down there, yeah, he's done all that. He lined up all that. Governors are helping. But the other thing that's really cool is everybody made fun of him for the Florida State Guard.
The Florida State Guard?
It's like the National Guard, but it is solely a Florida entity.
Oh, okay.
When Helene hit, he was able to send the Florida State Guard to help North Carolina and Georgia. And now the Florida State Guard is back in Florida. It's almost like their main mission is to recover and help with recovery from hurricanes and natural disasters. But they have been just absolutely phenomenal. And that's just something that he created. I don't know that it's something that other states have. And he got mocked for it when he initially announced it.
Well, that explains to me why after Helene went through the first time and went through Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, and all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. It seems like the big damage from that storm, what I hear about the most, is North Carolina. And I started hearing all these reports about the Cajun Navy. Do you remember?
Yeah, the Cajun
Navy. So these guys, generally speaking, are the first ones in. Like, they get there before anybody, which is amazing, first of all. But these guys weren't in Florida. They were in North Carolina. But I understand why now, because Florida had a better support system set up. They've got a governor who understands how to do all this. I don't even remember the governor of North Carolina. I'm blanking on who that is.
I can't remember
now.
His name. He's Democrat. I know that.
But it's just amazing of how well DeSantis has handled all of these natural disasters that have hit the state of Florida, and he keeps overperforming every time. Mm-hmm. And this last hurricane, it really worked out to be not as bad and worse all at the same time. So the storm surge that hit, they thought it was going to be a Category 5, and then at the last minute it died to a Category 3. died. So it scaled down to a 3, which is really, really bad because it was a huge storm. When it was sitting over the center of Florida, you basically couldn't see the center of Florida. It would all of Florida in the middle was covered up by the hurricane from the satellite photos, right? But it spun up so many tornadoes that they had never had that many tornadoes from a storm. And that's a separate thing that you generally don't think about. So I don't think about all this disaster that's going to happen from a tornado. But I heard this guy this morning on the news who was basically saying, hey, I lost everything, not from the hurricane. I lost it from a tornado that came through. It blew my windows out and blew everything out except for the bedroom that he was in was the only thing surrounding him. All the rest of his house was gone.
Wow, nice pick.
Yeah.
Good room.
Yeah. God likes you. God loves you every day, but sometimes he likes you.
You know,
for that guy, he liked
We
him.
don't say it, but I know I saw a lot more people praying about this hurricane, and it's just interesting. You don't know. I don't know. But it's just interesting that at the last second it was decategorized so quickly.
It was decategorized and it shifted south of Tampa.
Yeah.
So much to the point where they had what do they call it? Reverse storm surge.
Yes.
So the way storm surge works is basically it's where the water's being blown by the winds, and whenever it shifted south, the rotation of the hurricane was actually blowing water out of Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it pulled it out of the bay.
Yeah, and so they didn't have the storm surge issue. They had rain flooding, but they didn't have the storm surge. And they were talking 20-plus feet of storm surge.
Right.
And it's just that little shift.
It's really interesting.
Couple miles.
Yeah, it's neat. It's certainly worth looking at. You go, oh, okay, I'm going to pray then. I don't know how much difference I'm making with a hurricane, but it can't hurt.
What's the old saying? There are no what's it called no atheist in foxholes?
Yes.
Right? So you get to that point of you're looking at this storm and you're thinking, I know what just went through. Now I got another one that's bigger than the one I just went through. I'm pretty much at my wit's end. Guess where I'm going? Right? So at that point, you start praying.
In the spirit of be or not to be.
Sorry, get back to it.
No, it's good discussion. But Kamala not being able to find Florida was the B story. Kate has chimed in here online and says Kamala can't find the southern border either. Now, I want to point out, yeah, I mean, she's doing be or not to be. It's good
tell
stuff.
Me the state that the border's in. Tell me what that state starts with.
Now, this is actually fake news, though, because we do not have a southern border, so that's false. That is the B. All right, next one. Kamala announces, this is another hurricane story. Kamala announces plan to tell Hurricane Milton, don't. That's correct. This is the B. The vice president's message to Hurricane Milton was reportedly met with gale force winds, flash flooding, and flying debris. Despite Harris's bold words, Milton somehow continued inland undeterred. Meteorologists praised Harris for her decisive action, but said they worried her tactics may not defeat the hurricane. Quote, the vice president is a great leader, and we appreciate all she's done to mitigate the risks of Milton. Unfortunately, the hurricane seems to be unfazed by her stark warning, said meteorologist Peter Wilkes. We are all shocked by the storm's complete and utter disregard for the vice president's stern words.
Don't. It's
don't.
Just like how Iran listens to Joe Biden.
Iran, migrants,
Russia.
She told them all, don't.
All of them. Don't. What's your advice? Don't.
Don't.
Thank you.
And then she pauses. Am I going to say something else? I don't think so.
Don't. It's Nancy Reagan's just say no. Do you want a hurricane? Just say no.
Yeah. Have we thought of that? Just telling it not
just
to
tell
come?
a hurricane, hey, I'm sorry, we're all full here?
Yeah, really.
Take that elsewhere.
Next one, a Quiet Place video game alerts aliens with your noises.
Wait, alerts aliens with your noises?
Yeah, the movie A Quiet Place.
I'm going to say that's a real story.
I think that's a real game.
This is a real game. It sounds super cool. A Quiet Place video game alerts aliens with your noises. So Saber Interactive and Storm Mind Games have released a new live-action trailer that demonstrates the road ahead's mic detection feature.
Mm-hmm. Hey.
This is an optional setting, so you don't have to use it. But if you want the full immersive game, if you want to go full method when you're playing a Quiet Place game, then even the slightest sound in your room gives away your position to the aliens.
That sounds amazing. There's a game that I play, usually play it about this time of year because it's called Phasmophobia, and it's kind of the same principle. You're ghost hunting, and you got to try to get the ghost to reveal itself, collect information, figure out what kind of ghost it is. And part of the way you do that is by yelling out its name and all this other stuff. But also then it'll start hunting. And if it starts hunting, you have to hide from it. You have to be absolutely quiet, and your mics are hot.
Oh, man, these games are so
it's
scary.
so good. And the audio design is amazing because you'll be walking through with your UV flashlight trying to find evidence or whatever, and you'll just hear and it's right in your ear.
Man, Silent Hill games.
So good.
I'll just watch. I don't even play them. I'll just get online and I'll watch a playthrough of a Silent Hill game just to see how it goes, how it ends. And even then I'm like, I'm not even getting control of this game.
Silent Hill game?
Yeah, Silent Hill is a very popular game franchise.
Okay.
And they're scary. They're very ominous. And you never really know, you're just kind of walking around empty cities at night. And
I was this many years old before I knew that existed.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot wait for that game to come out because the Twitch streams are going to be amazing.
Hey, make a video out of this. Maybe we'll hit the algorithm. Last one.
Hang on, I do love the info dude comment of kind of like Benjamin Netanyahu, the hurricane doesn't seem to be listening to Kamala.
Yeah. Last one before we get to the break here, and I'm hitting this one, but I feel bad about it. I kind of want to wait till next week, but we got 2 minutes here, so I'm going to do it.
You won't be here Monday, so.
Well, yeah, but I will be here Friday. Annie's not here, and this really would go over better with another woman in the room. It's all guys.
Another woman?
A woman.
Which one, Ryan?
I was like, hey, who's identifying? Because it ain't me. I'm just saying.
Okay, I'm going to read it. Despite loss, first female NHL coach says she was happy to see her team score so many touchdowns.
Oh, you would get in so much trouble.
Oh,
you know what? Maybe it is better that I'm doing it this week.
Yes.
I don't know. I think you should bring that up next week just to get her opinion.
This is the Babylon Bee. Seattle Kraken assistant coach Jessica Campbell, the first female on any NHL coaching staff, said she was disappointed in the team's 3-2 loss to the St. Louis Blues.
Hey! That's right, St. Louis Blues.
But the fact that the team scored 2 touchdowns left her feeling encouraged about the team's prospects for the season. So there you go. That is the B or not the B.
I love that. So Wiggins America Extended Edition, new time frame that we moved to just for today and today only because our interview with Ryan Schmelz ran a little longer. We are going to talk about the poll question that is up today. We'll talk to you more about that on the other side. It's Mike Elam sitting in for Annie Fry today on the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Hey, it's Mark Bearden for the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. I depend on them for eye care, and they have an announcement. They're pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to their practice. Dr. Berry is a cornea surgeon, and he has the latest knowledge and techniques for advanced eye care and treatment in the field. So what do we call them now? The doctors? No, just the best doctors to see for your best vision. In St. Louis, you can reach them at 314-966-5000. They've treated more than 250 doctors, more than any others in the practice. Now, if you need help with dry eye, LASIK surgery, maybe you have glaucoma, macular degeneration. I had an eye disease when I was just 25 years old, so my eyes are very important to me. You get the absolute best care with the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Bersati, Andy Royer, and now Dr. Samuel Berry. 314-966-5000 or visit youridoc.com. They have a great location just off Manchester Road, a half mile west of 270. Ophthalmology Associates.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Mark Cox here. Did you know the Rockwood School District is a great place to work? They're currently hiring school bus drivers, cafeteria workers, and custodial staff. They have openings in Adventure Club, which is before and after school care. They offer competitive pay, flexible work hours, and a rewarding work environment. Discover the Rockwood Advantage and join an amazing team. Go to rsdmo.org/jobs. That's rsdmo.org/jobs.
Okay, we have a pretty simple question for the YouTube live chat poll today. What is the most likely result of the presidential election? It's the answers that might give you a little pause. Think about this. Kamala wins the popular vote and the Electoral College. Trump wins the popular vote and the Electoral College. Kamala wins the popular, Trump wins electoral, or Trump wins popular, and Kamala wins electoral. We would like to know which you think is the most likely outcome, and then we will associate your name with that poll and judge you after the election. I'm just kidding about the last part. You can get on YouTube and sign up, subscribe to our stream, and vote there. We'll be talking about this subject shortly. 1:45, this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
We know you've got an interesting take on things. You can tell us by clicking the microphone button next to Listen Live when you're on the Odyssey app. Record a short message for us to hear when you tune into 97.1 on the Odyssey app. This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
It's the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk. Mike Elam sitting in the big chair today over in the corner. A lot less hair, but a lot more belly. That's kind of where we're at right now. Just trying to keep it real and making it work.
Thank you.
Hey, appreciate you
eating
guys.
Is fun, though, isn't it? Isn't eating fun?
I do love eating.
Me too.
I wish it wasn't fun.
Yeah, me too. I wish it was terrible. Like you just had to get through it.
Yeah, if it was something you were forced to do rather than something that you liked to do.
Well, so I'm trying to eat better, right? But eat better is kind of, I guess, in the eye of the beholder sometimes. Because I was up in northern Illinois this week for work. So I was up in Lake County, which is the northwest suburbs of Chicago area, right? So I was up there meeting with some folks. I actually spent the night up in Wisconsin, so I have 2 cases of Spotted Cow beer sitting in the back of my car right now. If you have any friends from Wisconsin, that's the only place you can get it. But I stopped by a Wally's on the way home. So Wally's, if you don't know, is sort of a poor man's Buc-ee's, if you will.
So not the one in Fenton?
Not the one in Fenton.
Okay.
This was actually the one north of Bloomington in Illinois. So I stopped by there, and I got some of the Wally's original beef jerky. I'm trying to decide, is beef jerky actually healthy for you? I think it is.
It depends.
I mean, it's protein, right? So
yeah, it's
supposed to eat
high
more
in protein, but it's also pretty high in sodium.
Yeah, there's 550 milligrams of sodium.
What's that of your percent daily value?
It says 24%, but I don't know. It seems like a lot of salt to me. But,
that's a lot.
There is a lot. But it's got vitamin D and calcium and iron and potassium. It's got a lot of potassium in it. So, whatever. So, trying to eat a little healthier, but I'm with you. I do love to eat. I am. I'm down 25 pounds.
Attaboy.
Hey!
I love to hear it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when you get to my size, you can't really tell the 25.
Mike, I'm going to be honest with you. I can tell. I could tell.
Okay.
But like it's always like there's a couple people around the office that I'm noticing are losing weight, but it's very dangerous to say, hey, are you dropping some weight?
Hey, when we did our pre-show hugs, I noticed.
Yeah, Ryan's like, my fingertips touched. It was amazing. I could touch wrist, elbow to elbow.
I haven't gotten my arms around you in a long time.
I know.
Look at you.
The hugs are lasting a little less long these days. People are so weirded out by them.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the poll?
Oh, yeah. So we have a YouTube live chat poll. Ryan was talking about this just a little bit ago, that the poll isn't necessarily hard for you to answer. It's how are you going to pick from our pre-nominated answers for you to pick from. So the question is, what's the most likely result of the presidential election? You're a 97.1 listener. I have an idea of where you're probably going to go with that part. But here are your four choices. Kamala wins the popular vote and the Electoral College. 2, Trump wins the popular vote and the Electoral College. 3, Kamala wins the popular, Trump wins the Electoral. Or 4, Trump wins the popular, Kamala wins the Electoral.
This is tough.
How did you come up with these answers?
Well, these are the probable answers. So
you've pretty much covered all of them.
Because of the Electoral College, you can win the presidency without winning the popular vote.
As we've seen happen a few times.
If you're running, there's two ways that you can win. You can win without winning the popular vote, and you can win with winning the popular vote.
Right.
And of course, Tim Walz and Democrats in general have made the popular vote into an issue right now, so we figured we'd talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, he wants to actually get rid of the Electoral College, and he wants to go with the popular vote.
Well, that's what he said, but his team, who knows him better than he does,
of course,
said, no, he didn't actually mean that.
He didn't mean that. He doesn't hate the Republic.
Yeah, right.
No,
and
he
that's
doesn't
what's
want to
funny
get rid of a constitutional election.
And important to mention that we do not live in a democracy.
Right.
Now, I think a lot of times people on the right will use that as kind of a cudgel to hit people when they say, we live in a democracy. And a lot of times people aren't referring to the difference between a democracy and a republic when they're just sort of generally casually talking.
Yes.
But when politicians who are in power keep using the terms and you go, you're not actually using those correctly, you do need to point that out.
It's like the Princess Bride. I don't think that means what you think it means.
Keep on using that word.
So Brad saying, actually, it's a republic. That's important to this conversation.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, it's like when somebody's like, when they talk, we live in a democracy, what they're saying is you get to vote for your leadership.
That's what
you have a voice in the process.
Yes, and that would be an accurate description of the United States. But we have a representative republic. We vote for representatives to represent us in the House. It used to be that the states would appoint senators because the Senate was supposed to represent the states. That got changed with a constitutional amendment because we have ways of changing the Constitution. So you get to vote on those constitutional amendments as well, or you get to vote for people who vote on those constitutional amendments.
You get to vote on 5 of them this year if you live in Missouri.
Yeah.
That's a whole other segment.
Yes, it is.
I didn't mean to sidetrack that. So let's not go there.
But so when you look at this, what do you guys think? What do you think is the most likely outcome of this election? And I think I'm going to start with you, Mike. What do you think?
I think that Kamala Harris is going to win the popular vote.
Okay.
And I say that because you have a couple of states that have large populations where I think she's going to run the vote total up. You saw that happen with Hillary Clinton in 2016, where she wins California by 6 million votes. Well, 6 million votes takes a few states off the table completely. I mean, Rhode Island is really happy that we have a republic, not a democracy. Otherwise, they're basically St. Louis County, right? They have 1 million people and 39 municipalities, where St. Louis County has 1 million people and 88 municipalities. That's kind of stupid. But they would not be represented in their voice at all. But I think you look at California, you look at New York, she's going to run the vote totals up there because on big liberal states, she's going to get that.
High percentage.
I don't think she is going to win the Electoral College.
I just don't know about this question, and I will make my predictions probably a week before, probably on the weekend on Wiggins America. I'll go on record and make my predictions, because I love doing that and seeing how I do. But this is one that I really don't know, because if I take a step back from looking at polls and looking at data, which I constantly do, and I just compare, like, the best poll you can get is an election. So
after the fact.
Looking at past elections is one of the best ways to look at a current election. And in this situation, we almost had a repeat election between two people who just ran against each other.
Yes.
And that is like a dream for data people because they go, well, I could really easily compare those things.
Yes.
But we're still close to that. We're not quite the same guy, but we are the same administration against the same guy. So I'm trying to
compare.
Yeah.
You can compare Trump administration, Biden administration.
Absolutely.
You can definitely
And I think voters are still doing that.
I think they are too.
And so when you compare 2024 against 2020, that's why I have the most optimism going into this election, is that polls aside, and they were off in 2020, Trump overperformed them.
They were
in
off in
2016
same
and
thing.
20.
Yep.
So let's say that happens again, even not by the same margins, but even by like half the margins that they were. Trump wins this election pretty easily in the Electoral College. But what does that mean for the popular vote? Now, I'm content with him being president, regardless. But I would like to see him win the popular vote. And I still think that's a possibility because the turnout was so massive from Democrats in 2020 against Donald Trump. Not for Joe Biden.
I agree.
But against Donald Trump. That we've seen what 4 years of this administration has brought. I just don't think you're going to see the same enthusiasm. You will from the people who have the signs in their yards.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. But you're not going to see the same enthusiasm from the average voter, electorate as you did in 2020. So I think it's actually possible that Trump still gets the same turnout, maybe even higher after 4 years of Biden-Harris.
But what's your pick?
I'm going to go ahead and say Trump wins electoral and popular. At
Ooh.
this moment, just based on this election versus 2020. And that's all.
You make a really good point because when I look at this, like this could be one real close razor-thin election, but it could be an electoral landslide.
Yes.
That's very true.
It's so crazy, especially if you look at 2020 and how that is. And you were making this point about how, people came out to show up to vote against Donald Trump. Well, the 2020 election was a referendum on Donald Trump.
Yes.
He was the president. It was his administration. And, you were in the middle of COVID and everything was spun up with that. And so people were like, nope, we need to change. Now, Kamala's trying to run as a change candidate, but she's not really because it's her election. I think this is a referendum on the Biden administration, Biden-Harris administration. I think Trump takes them both, popular and electoral.
All right, so I'm in the minority of this one. We'll see what you think. Go online to the YouTube live chat poll question. Let us know what you think, and we will get to those results in the next hour. It's Mike Elam sitting in for Annie Fry today on the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
One more reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler? Get this. Diamonds Direct maintains involvement in the entire diamond process and handpicks the best just for you. You see, any jeweler can claim to be a direct importer or have so-called partnerships overseas, but Diamonds Direct has special access that others simply don't have. Nobody can get closer to the source than Diamonds Direct. Indeed, Diamonds Direct is recognized in the industry as a world diamond powerhouse with unrivaled buying power and decades of inside connections that go back to their roots as actual diamond cutters. Bottom line, Diamonds Direct is without question the jeweler here that can truly offer the absolute best value. We're true talking direct importer prices on hand-selected diamonds that come straight from the source. Make no mistake, Diamonds Direct refuses to be undersold on GIA-certified diamonds. And we challenge you, let us prove it. Diamonds Direct, your source for the ultimate diamond value.
They're pounding on the door. They're calling on the phone. They're threatening to close your business. If debt has your business on the brink, call Ray Reynolds, the godfather of credit. For over 40 years, Ray Reynolds has helped thousands of customers get millions in cash credit. It's no wonder why they call Ray the godfather of credit. He may even be able to raise your score above 750 before the end of the year. You could even get a new personal or business credit line up to $50,000 within days. If your credit needs a rebuild, call Ray Reynolds and receive a $1,000 cash credit credit card at closing. Raise your credit score to 750 or more. Call Ray Reynolds at 800-576-2295. 800-576-2295. Learn about Ray's secrets to success and how he can fix and improve your credit score to 750 or more. Call the godfather of credit rebuild, Ray Reynolds, at 800-576-2295. 800-576-2295.
All righty, we're getting ready to come into winter here, where we're going to be using our furnaces. A lot of you are getting prices now, or you're getting your furnaces checked and you're being told that you have an issue with your furnace and you need a new furnace. So if that is the case and you want a very simple common sense approach to picking a furnace, if that's the case, I'd appreciate you calling and giving me a chance to meet with you and discuss your options. So call me. It's one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. Just one number. Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600. That's Bart Inman, 314-293-2600, or on the web is bartinman.com. Now that is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Under Law Injury Lawyers GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Putting the damage in perspective. Lisa Brady, Fox News, as Florida deals with the widespread aftermath of Hurricane Milton.
Most of the homes in our city, about 80-90%, sustained some water intrusion during the surge that we had.
The mayor of St. Pete Beach, Adrian Petrilla, says that's thousands of homes with damage in his city alone, many with 2 to 4 feet of water. Other homes were torn apart by the storm and its deadly tornadoes, adding to lingering debris from Hurricane Helene. President Biden says he will be asking Congress for more disaster money.
Early estimates are damage from just Hurricane Milton could total $50 billion, President Biden says.
I want everyone in the impacted areas to know we're going to do everything we can to let you help you pick back up the pieces and get back to where you were.
The president says he was also briefed on efforts to restore power and says there needs to be more investment to harden the electric grid.
It makes sense, and anybody who says we don't want to spend the money, think of the 3 storms. After every damn storm, you wipe out the power grid, you got to rebuild it.
President Biden plans to visit storm-damaged communities in Florida on Sunday.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Former President Trump is proposing a tax deduction for home generators if he's elected, posting that it would apply to home generators purchased in states hit by natural disasters between September 1st of this year and the end of next August. He's about to hold a rally in Aurora, Colorado, focusing in part on Venezuelan gangs and what he calls migrant crime. Harris running mate Tim Walz focusing on manufacturing in Michigan.
We need to release the full potential of American industry, cut red tape so we can build more and build faster. 3
fellow Democratic governors begin a Blue Wall bus tour for Harris next week in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. The U.S. just issuing new Iran-related sanctions targeting the petroleum and petrochemical sectors after Iran's recent missile attack on Israel. America is listening to Fox News.
Did you know every 3 seconds someone is a victim of identity theft? LifeLock wants to give you helpful tips to protect your identity this Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Adding multi-factor authentication, like a text with a security code, is one way to boost your security. But for comprehensive protection, trust LifeLock. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal info and steps in to resolve issues that arise, guaranteed or your money back. Protect yourself with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The non-October feel will take us right through Friday afternoon. Sunny skies, 84 for the high. Tonight, clear skies, 70s for evening plans, 61 for the low. Saturday, sunny skies, 87 for the high. Clear skies, 60 Saturday night. Sunday, we start a cool down, sunny and 75. 48 Sunday night, 62 Monday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a car wreck, you need the best. Let us make your case our cause. Car accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9million.
Join us for our first ever Trade Day sale at Apache Village RV. So hook up your camper and join us Thursday through Saturday, October 10th through the 12th at both of our locations at 9001 Dunn Road in Hazelwood or 971 Wilmer Road in Wentzville for barbecue, beverages, and a free trade evaluation. We guarantee at least $1,000 over the national average for your trade-in with the purchase of any new RV. Your trade will never be worth more than it is today. As this camping season winds down, save up to 25% off MSRP. These prices will never be better. Check out all of our new 2024 and 2025 Jayco, Keystone, Fleetwood, and Bontrager Outdoors inventory. Mention this 97.1 ad for a chance to win a $500 gift certificate to our parts store. For 3 years in a row, we have won the best RV dealer in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch headliners. Our commitment to you starts when you walk through the door. Go one better. Go Apache Village RV in Hazelwood and in Wentzville, October 10th through 12th. Trade value dependent upon condition of trade unit at time of delivery.
The Social Security Trust Fund could run out of money in less than 10 years. Discover why this could change when you file for your benefits on Your Retirement Professors, Sunday evening at 6 on KFTK, 97.1 FM Talk.
If you're experiencing low energy, brain fog, or bloating, then your body might need a detox. Active Liver from New Nordic makes it easy to help your liver to detox your body all year long without major changes to your diet or lifestyle. Active Liver is available in stores at CVS or online at Amazon.
Mark Cox here. I have put together my 2024 general election voter's guide with you in mind. The direction of our nation and our state is in your hands now. Visit 971talk.com to see the Mark Cox 2024 voter guide.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Hope your Friday is going well. It's the Annie Fry Show. It's Mike Elam sitting in for Annie Fry today. Man, I know I say this every time I'm here, but you get rolling and you feel like, okay, this is really going, and then you're like, oh, wow, we're in the last hour already. Like, where did the time go? How did we end up at 2 o'clock hour already?
Well, we did the 12 o'clock hour and then the 1.
Oh, so they normally happen that way?
Yeah, that's the way
I thought it was
happens.
just when I was
here.
here.
We even break them down into segments. Like, so we did like the first segment in the 12 o'clock hour, then the second segment and the third segment.
There is so much that happens that I'm just catching up on.
It's just
it is so amazing.
You do radio long enough.
Yeah.
You kind of pick that stuff up.
Well, you guys are pros. I'm just a guy who slides in here every now and then and tries to hold down the seat while Annie can have a day off or Reardon. I used to fill in for Cox, but that's really early.
It is very early.
I'm like,
I think the company kind of decided, you know what, Kim's already up that early.
Yeah, exactly.
Why don't we just let her do it?
Well, they probably found out that all the rest of us are going, yeah, so 5. Really? Is that a hardcore? Do we have? How about 6? I mean, I live in Darden Prairie. That's a long way from here.
We had a host that was out in Las Vegas.
Yeah. She just got a big award the other day.
she would fill in, and it's like, man, that's 2 hours difference or whatever.
She's starting that show at 3 a.m. her time.
Oh, my gosh.
I can't imagine. I mean, the first hour, when I would fill in on Mark Cox's show, the first hour, I wasn't even awake for. So I was just, I have no idea what I said.
I tried to fill in from Hawaii once.
Oh. On that show?
I think that might be kind of easy, because isn't it like
you
8?
may be up at midnight or something
it's
at
like
that
8
point.
in the evening.
All of that's not true. None of that's true.
None of this is true.
It's kind of a nightcap, 4
he
hours, then go to bed.
Called in from Japan.
They said,
show.
emergency. Can you fill in from Japan? I'm like, I don't know. I went to American Samoa, try to make it a little bit better. It wasn't that much better. And so I decided not to do it at all.
Upon further review. Second thought, I'm not going to do
No,
this.
thanks. I did travel the globe deciding that.
Thanks for paying for my ticket, though.
Yeah.
So it's funny, we started this whole thing 2 hours ago, me asking the question, so what's really changed since I was here? Anything new happened? And it turns out there's a lot of stuff that's been going on while I haven't been playing radio, but not all of it could get talked about. You just can't cover everything in 3 very quick hours. I used to love that with the Rush Limbaugh, the 3 fastest hours of radio. And here we sit with things that we haven't been able to cover to this point, which brings up the question of, what did I miss?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah,
I forgot my sounder.
He gave you I'm watching Mike the whole time going, he's giving you a nice long intro, Brad.
Yeah.
Brad's like feather dusting
I'm
the board.
looking for stuff.
Did I tell you that we have a new board? So there's a whole new board here. Great electronics, fantastic investment from the Odyssey folks. Thanks for doing that.
Super cool stuff.
By the way, it's a new board.
Yeah, it's a new board.
And it's really cool.
What did I miss?
What did I miss?
All right, so it's been a while since we've done this, but this is where I bring some audio cuts where we just didn't make the show. They're good cuts, but they just didn't make the show. And I was kind of looking at this, and I'm like, man, where do I want to go first? And we've been talking an awful lot about Kamala Harris
and I don't know why.
Tim Walz, and they've been doing a new show. And this cut is Kamala Harris on Tim Walz talking about the American dream.
The American dream right now is really elusive for far too many people in terms of even aspiring to own a home. It's too expensive. We don't have enough housing. We have a housing shortage. So part of my plan is to work with the private sector, with builders and developers, to build 3 million more homes by the end of my first term, and to give first-time home buyers a $25,000 a down payment assistance so they can just get their foot in the door to home ownership, which is the fastest and the most efficient way for people to build intergenerational wealth.
Okay, so I was listening to that clip, and there's a couple things right there. It is really hard to buy a new home right now.
It is.
It is the fastest way to build intergenerational wealth. The interesting thing is who has been in charge for the last 4 years. Why has home prices gone up? And this is a recent thing. I remember it really popping up. The price is really going up during COVID. People were getting new homes during COVID.
Very much so.
But then, like, her solution is we're going to work with home builders to build new homes. Home builders are building homes.
They are.
But what they're not building is entry-level homes.
They are not building what we would call affordable homes.
Yes.
I mean, the average price of a home in St. Charles County right now, I don't know the metro, but the average price in St. Charles County right now is $413,000.
That's a high price.
That's the average price?
Yeah.
It's like $500,000.
So if you want to build a new home, like new construction, the average price of new construction in St. Charles County, $600,000.
Man.
That doesn't surprise me. And the problem is, so she brings up 2 different issues there.
Yes.
One is we have not enough inventory. Well, part of the reason Now, J.D. Vance brought this up, and it's true. If you add like 20 million people to a population, that's going to hurt your inventory. And people joke like, well, you can't be an illegal immigrant and go put a down payment on a house in Virginia.
No, but you're put up in places.
True, but you are put up in, you have to be put up somewhere.
Yes. Right.
And some of those are shelters. Some of those are just other places where other people would be staying, apartment buildings and hotels and all these places that are just jam-packed. So all of that does contribute. And by the way, a lot of migrants, they'll have, I don't know what you call them, like anchor people here. So you're staying with family that does have a house,
right,
and that family may need to get a bigger house or more house or whatever. So all these things, like what do you think in your brain as you're criticizing this, that 20 million people are all on the streets? Because they're not.
They're not.
So they're housed somewhere. Anyway, point being that we have an inventory problem, and it's not just due to immigration. We have an inventory problem.
Right.
We have the last 20 years had a growing inventory problem, and it's exacerbated after COVID. Her solution to work with home builders to build more houses is fine. I'm fine with leaders doing that as long as your solution isn't somehow the government getting involved in it. Because what you just said, $600,000 for a new construction, that's a fact.
Yep.
There are so many regulatory costs now to build a house that didn't exist in 1950, where a lot of, so many houses were built from like the 60s and before. When I look at houses, entry-level houses, they're all that time period.
Yep.
They're the 20s, sometimes they're 100 years old to the 1960s, and then they start to get bigger, and then they start to get out of my price range as an investor. The problem is that building those entry-level houses is impossible with all the current regulations. Now, Tim Walz brought this up. Yeah, Tim Walz brought this up during the debate, and I wish that they would have given J.D. Vance time to answer this, because he usually has pretty good answers, and I would have liked to heard what he said on this. Tim Walz said, hey, it's not just immigration that's the problem. He said it's also that the regulatory issues you're talking about, what federal regulations would you get rid of? That's a great question. And I acknowledge that from a Democrat. That's a good question, because it's not all federal. A lot of it, in fact, the bulk of it is state, it's county, it's city, it's Ameren, it's all these different organizations now have all these regulations, and they all work together. So it's not a silver bullet that can solve that problem. So if Kamala is saying she's going to get involved, again, my question back to her is her own vice president's question. What are you going to do at the federal level that's going to allow all these new homes to be built?
Well, in that clip, her solution is, we will give you $25,000 as a down payment on a home. If the government starts giving you money, it's going to do exactly what happened to colleges. Right. When you give access to people, home prices aren't going to come down. They're going to go up by that amount, because that's a new amount of money, a new pool of money that people have. And like, home builders are trying to build homes. Like, it's not like they're going, we're not going to build any more homes. At $600,000 a pop, you bet they're going to be making money, and they're going to be doing it as fast as they can.
They're building bigger homes.
Yes. And that, like, my house is they're adding on to our neighborhood. I mean, in the course of 2 years, they've added probably 24 homes. And the home that is going in right behind my house, it's just a basement right now. It's a walkout basement. I walked out my back deck and I looked at that and I said, I think my whole house would be able to fit in the basement of that house. That's what they're building. My house is one of the smallest houses in our neighborhood now.
So TR Hughes has a product that they are building, and in St. Charles County and in Warren County that they're building right now. It has a standard 4-car garage.
Jeez.
Right? So you have to have a super wide driveway, which means your lots have to be really wide for you to be able to sit it in there. Why are they building a home with a standard 4-car garage? Because people want it. Do you know what home builders are building right now? What people are demanding? Do you know why they're not building? St. Peter's is full of 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage homes. Full of them, ranches, right? Mm-hmm. That's what most of the homes that they were building, that were the entry-level homes back in the late 80s to 90s. That's what you saw a lot of. My first house that we lived in St. Peter's was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage home.
That's what I live in.
So that's where we were, right? It had a basement. The rooms were decent a whole house. I think our house was 1,300 square feet, right? But it was a great home. We bought that house for $98,000 in 1994, right?
Mm-hmm.
That home sold. My wife found it the other day and showed us a picture. Well, look at that's our old first house. I'm so miss it. And that house now is $325,000.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So one of the great things, I blame HGTV. Thanks, Amy. I love watching House Hunters when it's like, well, we're a young couple. We're just getting started out. We want to buy our first house, and we're kind of tight on cash. Okay, well, what's your budget? Well, we only have about $800,000.
Yeah.
What the hell do you do? How did you end up with that?
A substitute teacher and a part-time origami artist.
Exactly. We've got $800,000. Part of the issue of where you come into things, and I understand there are good intentions in some legislation, but one of the things of a new program, which is the real estate freeze, tax freeze, that Missouri did for seniors to try to help seniors stay in their house. One of the bad parts about that, I shouldn't say bad, but one of the repercussions of that, the longer that seniors stay in those homes, and those are the 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, 1,000, 1,100, 1,200 square feet homes, which would be your starter homes. Now seniors are going to stay in those longer. So you don't have what you would call a quote-unquote starter home for our kids to be able to move into. I mean, my oldest in 7 days turns 30. I got a 27-year-old and a 22-year-old. My kids, my oldest has a house that he bought in Winsville, thank God, before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So he was able to get in, and they have a house. My 27-year-old does not. My 22-year-old does not. If you want to find what I'll call affordable starter housing in my area, you're going to Warren County and in some cases Lincoln County. They have products out there that are $230,000, $250,000. That's a starter home now.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have, the low 200s. Those don't exist anymore. But what you do when you put $25,000 federal assistance into that, to Brad's point, you just raise the cost of the house.
Yeah.
And you make something that's already unaffordable even more unaffordable. And then let's talk about the fact of, hey, where's that $25,000 coming from?
It's just your tax money again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Final
point here.
Same place that it came from to pay for your college loan.
Yeah, exactly. It's and again, final point, because I know we got to move on, but with the $25,000, there's some independent economic organizations, I think the CBO is one of them, that said, here's how much we think this plan would cost. The cost, $3 trillion.
Wow.
$3 trillion, you're just printing that out of nowhere, by the way. That's just inflation. So you're devaluing your currency, and so you're going to raise, what do you think $3 trillion pumped for free into the housing market's going to do to it over the next 4 years?
Yeah, that's not going to explode that pricing point at all.
Your houses just shoot way up,
right.
And your currency's less valuable, so they're going to go up even more because people are running to hard assets. It's so stupid that it makes me. I'm shocked that not a politician would say it, but that an average voter couldn't understand the repercussions after we've just been through what we've been through for 4 years.
Oh, I think the average voter gets that, and I think that's why they look at a program like that and go, yeah, you're insane.
Thanks, no thanks.
Yeah. You know what? How about if you just bring my interest rate down to where I can afford to buy a little more house? That's going to help me out a whole lot more than your $25,000.
I've got one more clip I want to play here, and I know we're short on time, but
we'll talk with Matt Pauley on the other side.
Melania was on the 5 with Gutfeld endorsing her book, and he asked the question that all of us were wondering. If it'll play.
By the way, does he ever sleep?
He doesn't sleep much. He does, of course.
Does he wear
needs
pajamas?
to. No.
No. What does he wear when he sleeps, Melania?
Well, one of the things.
So you can't see it there, but when he's like, what does he wear whenever she sleeps? Melania looks at him and runs her fingers across her lips and does the little lock thing. So she's not going to say.
Because that didn't get answered when Trump was on the show either.
No.
And everybody kind of went, wait a minute, nobody's ever asked that question. Does he wear a suit to bed? Like what does he wear?
It's the Joe Biden joke of, hey, boxers or briefs? And he said, depends. We're going to talk to Matt Pauley on the other side. It's the Annie Fry Show. Mike Elam sitting in today at 97.1 FM Talk.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
There's breaking news all day long from around the world, and sometimes all that noise makes it hard to hear about what's happening right here at home. With the free Odyssey app, getting your local news plus breaking news is easy. And even when you're not near a radio, stay connected with what's going on right here by listening live and push alerts. Just download the free Odyssey app and search and follow your local news station, and you're good to go. The local breaking news to get you through your day at your fingertips on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
If you're considering new windows, there's nowhere else to go but Window World. Mark Cox here. My friends at Window World are doing something now they've never done before. That is offering up to 36 months interest-free financing for your purchase. So you get the great windows put in now, you get the energy efficiency, the great look, and then you have 36 months to pay for it. How about that? Window World has been around for a long time, and their reputation speaks for itself. They are highly rated in the Better Business Bureau and all of the rating agencies. They're big supporters of our St. Louis Blues, and here's the thing. If you mention you heard this on the Mark Cox Morning Show in 97.1, you're going to be entered in a drawing for 4 Blues tickets during the upcoming season, and that's great. They're going to pick a winner every month, and good luck to you. If you need new windows, I'm telling you, Window World is the way to go. 314-993-1800. That's 993-1800 or windowworldstlouis.com.
Hey, it's Mark Bearden for New Perspective Senior Living in Weldon Spring. New Perspective is just opening. I had the chance to take a tour and meet the staff. I got to tell you, this place is amazing. They offer state-of-the-art independent or assisted living, as well as memory care. Imagine your loved one enjoying delicious meals, activities, entertainment, and even an AI fall detection system. New Perspective Senior Living of Weldon Spring is redefining senior living. Visit npseniorliving.com to schedule a tour today. That's npseniorliving.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Download the Odyssey app to listen to 97.1 FM Talk and find content that moves you. Anytime, anywhere. The Odyssey app for 97.1 FM Talk on the go. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Are they really going to rebuild? Because the Cardinals have never been a full rebuild team. They've never done that. They've never, just started from scratch. And that would be a bad thing for St. Louis because we don't really have patience for a 5-year rebuild in St. Louis. That's not going to be met with a whole lot of happy thoughts. I still think they have some really, really great players to build around there. They have some really good young pitchers that are coming up through the system that are going to be awesome. They need to build up their position player minor league system a bit. There's not, from what I could tell, there's not a whole lot coming that's going to be like major impact.
We are joined by Matt Pauley, Sports Open Line host over on KMOX. Matt, thanks for joining us today. It sounds like the Cardinals don't have patience for a full rebuild. You buy that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was Adam Wainwright talking yesterday, and I think he's talking specifically about the fans, and I don't think it was ever going to be a 5-year full just tear the whole thing down and rebuild it. One of the problem is we just don't know what it's actually going to look like. When the Cardinals held that press conference a couple weeks ago, they simply stated that payroll would be going down this upcoming season. That could mean one of two things. It could mean they're taking the salary that's walking out the door and replacing it with guys coming up from the minor league system. So the Paul Goldschmidts, the Lance Lynn's, the Kyle Gibsons, who account for a lot of money, that those guys are going to be replaced by people who are basically either already on the roster or already in the system. Or it could be a more extreme type thing where they're looking to trade a Wilson Contreras, a Nolan Arenado, a Sonny Gray. And those two paths are very, very different. That first one, I think you can do that and still be kind of the same type of team you were this past year, while in the background the infrastructure and everything is being built up, so hopefully you're more of a championship contender down the line. But if it's the latter of the two options, then it could turn into a pretty tough season next season.
What do you think is going to happen?
I don't know. I keep asking people who are smarter than me that question, and I don't think it's a full teardown. I don't think they're going to be non-competitive. I don't think they're going to be a 100-loss team, anything like that. But is Nolan Arenado, Wilson Contreras, and Sonny Gray all going to be on the roster next season? Maybe, but if the proverbial gun to the head, I'd probably say no, probably not. At least one of those guys is going to sit here and say, you know what, I don't have the stomach for a lack of high-level competition, and if you can find a spot that I can go to where I can be really competing for a World Series, feel free to trade me. I think that is something that is probably to happen, but if I don't know for sure. And the other side of this is the Cardinals might not know. They're still working through their financial projections. The local TV money is very much up in the air. What are they going to do? It seems unlikely that they're going to be back on Bally Sports Midwest next year. That's not official yet. The games will still be available on cable, but there's probably going to be a direct-to-consumer option as well. But they're not going to be making the kind of money off TV that they were supposed to make on the deal. So they may need to know their financial situation better before they even know the answer to that question.
Hey, Matt, this is Ethan Hannaford. You kind of stole the last bit of my question there with your statement there at the end. But how much of what the Cardinals do in 2025 is dependent on how this TV stuff kind of works out here in the next couple of months?
Yeah, I think some of it. Now, if they were in a more competitive window, I would actually say more of it, because they can go into next season knowing that the heavy lifting is the work that Chaim Bloom's going to be doing, putting in the infrastructure, putting in the technology, putting in everything that needs to be put in to help player development and to help players be the best version of themselves, areas that the Cardinals have really fallen behind. So that was always going to be the heavy lift this year, and there was going to be more focus on that than I think what was going on at the major league level. But that being said, your major league roster, the payroll number, is going to be somewhat dictated by the money that is coming in. And we're at a really weird time right now for this organization, because they don't know what the local TV money is going to look like here moving forward. There's a big election coming up that's going to involve sports gambling in Missouri, and if that passes, that's going to be a new line of revenue for the team as well. They're very much in favor of that, but they're kind of sitting back and waiting, so that's going to line the pockets a little bit. They are really, truly looking at all things inside the ballpark to kind of change the general feeling of what's going on, and just the game day presentation, and how do you attract fans into the game for reasons beyond baseball. So there's just a lot going on right now. This is a really long question, or a really long answer to a short question, but it has some impact. But I think we need to get through these next 12 months or so, and then they're going to have more of an idea of what that general income is going to look like on an every year basis.
So, Matt, this is Brad. I checked out of baseball probably around June. I was just not enthralled with the team and whatnot, and I kind of gotten past that. And now I turned on and I've been watching the National. So I'm going to shift a little bit here and watching the National, the playoffs and stuff like that. And I have found that there are some series that are really, really compelling to watch, and other series are not as compelling to watch. The compelling series for me has been San Diego, Los Angeles. I think that the rivalry, the on-field intrigue has been great. But then I also have noticed that Bob Costas has been catching a lot of flack online. One of the things that I messaged Ethan about this, it seems like is it TBS, the broadcast, it just doesn't feel like it's capturing the atmosphere of the game. Is that really what we're seeing, or is this more of a production issue?
Yeah, I've been enthralled by all the series. Like, look at the 4 divisional series: Yankees, Royals, Guardians, Tigers, Phillies, Mets, Dodgers, Padres. I can think of big moments and really interesting things that have happened in all 4 of those series. So I think this has been an incredible playoffs. And the numbers would actually kind of disagree with you a little bit. Going into action, it was 2 days ago. I haven't seen updated numbers since then, but up to 2 days ago, television ratings this year for these playoffs were up 40% year over year. A 40% increase on a television rating year over year is absolutely unheard of. So there are a lot of eyes on what's going on right now. I think people who don't watch the Turner games all the time, it is a little bit of a different presentation. They do basketball a little bit differently, and they've got kind of their own way of doing things. And obviously, you think NBA basketball and Turner, you think about their Inside the NBA show. That's a very different kind of feeling show, and they've tried to apply that to hockey a little bit. They've tried to apply that to baseball. Turner's got the best national play-by-play guy in the business right now, in Brian Anderson, who has been doing the Guardians Tigers series. But I don't know. I haven't had a problem with anything. I like what I've seen, and I've been really entertained by the playoffs this year.
I wish I was entertained by baseball, because I haven't been for a year. So I'm going to turn the page for a second and talk about something that, at this point of year, we're always hopeful that the Stanley Cup is in our future. I don't know that we have a lot of folks who think that this year. Where are you on the Blues? What should our outlook be on the Blues as we go into the season?
Yeah, so I might be wrong on this one, just based off what I'm seeing over these first 2 games. Going into the season, I didn't like this team. I didn't think the team was especially good. I didn't think they had much of an identity. I saw all these people on social media talking about the Blues are kind of a scary, quiet team to keep an eye on. And I just didn't see it. And it's only 2 games. It is only 2 games. But I have watched these first 2 games, and for them to flip the switch in that Seattle game where they played so terribly for the first 30 minutes, and then they scored the 3 goals in a minute 55 to take a 3-2 lead, and on the road they protect a 1-goal lead for an entire third period on opening day for Seattle. That was impressive. And then last night, I don't know how many people were up at 12 o'clock in the morning watching hockey, but I was. And for them to come back, they're down 3 goals in the third period, and they come back and win. I think I saw it was only the second or third time in the history of the franchise they've ever had a 3-goal third period deficit and actually won the game. This team is showing great character, great resolve. The pieces that were added in the offseason, I think, were really smart, good pieces. So I don't like to be somebody that changes their mind based off a very small sample. So I'm not really changing my mind, but I guess I'm opening up my mind to be wrong, because if they're any version of what we've seen in these last 2 games, this could turn into a fun team. Now, what does that mean for the season? It probably means they're a team that maybe sneaks into the playoffs. There's a lot of really good teams, and they don't stack up to some of those. But if in a kind of a transitional period for this team, if they take a step forward from last year kind of just missing out on the playoffs to this year getting into the playoffs with some really good young players on the roster, I think that'd be a really good step forward.
Matt, it seemed like even midway through this past offseason, you talk about the transition that this Blues team is in, that there just wasn't a immediate point that they were really working towards. And we know that they have a solid prospect system, Dvorsky and some of these young guys. But to me, where my mindset changed and I felt like I began becoming much more optimistic about this team was when they offer sheeted for Holloway and Broberg from Edmonton. And that seems like, not that it's going to immediately have all the impact in the world, but it seems like that move, and we've already seen those two guys look pretty solid on the ice in the first 2 games of the season. It seems like it has the opportunity to expedite things in this, not rebuild, reset, retune, whatever they were calling it. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would, and I didn't totally know what their impact was going to be. You give them the offer sheet. That's not done a lot in the NHL. You're obviously going to have to overpay a little bit for them, but they were a big part of a long playoff run last year. And they brought in some other pieces as well that have been part of playoff runs. You know, Ryan Suter coming in, I think he's a little bit long in the tooth for sure, but he's seen and done everything. So yesterday I heard Drew Bannister, the Blues head coach, talk about kind of the leadership and the culture on the team, and how some of the guys who had previously been on the team, that he really liked how their leadership kind of stepped forward during the end of the season last year. And then you go add some players, including the guys that you mentioned in Holloway and Broberg, and really likes the way this whole thing has come together. And it's been fun. Like, it's, again, just 2 games. Who knows what's going to happen here moving forward, but it does feel like those guys are making a pretty big impact.
Hey, Matt, just to kind of round up all of the sports that's going on this weekend, Mizzou had a tough weekend last weekend. Now, that gives me the opportunity to say that my Arkansas Razorbacks actually upset the number 4 team in the country, Tennessee. So Woo Pig is where we're going there. But anytime I get the chance to plug my hogs, I'm going to do it. But Mizzou is playing the Minutemen from Massachusetts this weekend. They're 1-5. I have a pretty good feeling that Mizzou's going to be able to get healthy, and they should look pretty good.
Yeah, but it really doesn't matter. And in a perfect world, they would have played this game before last week. It really stunk for Mizzou when you're playing your first road game of the year going into a hornet's nest that is College Station, Texas. They looked terrible last week, and that loss could potentially cost them in the college football playoff and not getting in. When you look at the rest of the schedule and you look at the opportunity to come up with kind of those resume wins, they've still got Alabama on the schedule at Alabama, and winning that game would fix a lot of issues, but that doesn't seem likely. They'll still play Oklahoma at home. There's no guarantee Oklahoma's a top 25 team right now. There is no guarantee that they're going to be a top 25 team when that game comes around. Oklahoma's playing Texas this weekend. They've still got Ole Miss on the schedule before you get to the Missouri matchup. So there's a possibility there's only one top 25 team left on the schedule for Missouri, and they get just run off the field by Texas A&M. That's a debilitating loss for them. They'll be fine against UMass just the same way they were fine against Murray State and fine against Buffalo. It's on the road, so hopefully they can have some success away from Columbia. But I am concerned about this team. For a team that had expectations of getting into the playoff, the road to get there is much more challenging just because of the one-sided nature of that loss to Texas A&M.
Matt, I love you, but you might be the only man in St. Louis that cares about Kansas State. I'll still give you some love though. They got a fun one this week, prime time. They're going to prime time and facing off against Dion in Colorado. I think that could be a pretty fun matchup.
Yeah, Colorado is 4-1, 2-0 in the Big 12. K-State's 1-1 in Big 12 play. They had a really good win against Oklahoma State a couple weeks ago. So K-State's a top 25 team. Boulder's not an especially tough place to go play, but I'm optimistic about what's going to happen. But I've seen my fair share of games at Folsom Field that all of a sudden just start going in a crazy direction. So Colorado has kind of become a national program because of the Deion Sanders thing, and for many it's rooting against Colorado because Deion has not exactly done things the way a lot of people would like a coach to do things.
Are you saying that Deion's a polarizing figure in sports? What?
Yes, I am certainly saying that.
Breaking news.
He's been. I'm rooting against him, and I've always been a Deion guy. And I just the way he has run that program and the way he has treated people has really put a bad taste in my mouth.
You heard it here first. Bulletin board material for Deion Sanders in Colorado. Matt Pauley is
he's
making
listening
the waves
to the Annie Fry show
right now, guys.
Well, isn't everyone?
Deion does get his suits made in St. Louis.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a local suit. I wish I knew the guy's name. Mike Claiborne knows him.
Of course he does.
Of course he does. Yes.
But yeah,
That makes sense.
when you see those suits that Dion is wearing, that are those personalized ones, those are made in St. Louis.
How about that? I didn't know that. Well, Matt Pauley, thanks for taking some time on a Friday to hang out with us, man. It's always good to talk to you. I hope your i3 broadband internet connection is going great right now.
we are on it right now. If I'm sounding good, then we're in good shape.
I love that. I'm working in plugs everywhere today, brother. That's just exactly how it's going. Annie goes away and the plugs start flying. That's how it is. Matt Pauley, always appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, thanks, guys.
So we are going to wrap up the big show. We are going to talk a little bit about our polling question. You've still got time to weigh in on that. What is the most likely result of this presidential election? Kamala wins the popular vote and the Electoral College. Trump wins the popular vote and the Electoral College, that's where Brad and Ryan seem to be going right now. Kamala wins the popular vote. Trump wins the Electoral. That's where I'm at the moment. And Trump wins the popular and Kamala wins the Electoral. That better not happen. If it does, we're in a world of hurt. We're going to talk about that on the other side. It's Mike Elam sitting in for Annie Fry today on the Annie Fry Show and 97.1 FM Talk.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Fry Show.
Hi, Charles Payne here at one of the exciting Money Show events where I'm presenting the keynote, broadcasting my live TV show, and best of all, giving away free copies of my newest book, Unbreakable Investor. It's a $29.95 value, but if you act now, I'll give you one too.
For your free copy of Charles Payne's new book, Unbreakable Investor, text WIN to 505-505 and just cover shipping. Text WIN to 505-505. Text WIN to 505-505.
I'm handing you my investing playbook, 348 pages on how I personally invest to target the biggest returns while mitigating risk. It's how I've been with the market so I never break. Guidance so crucial for today's investors that I'm covering the cost of the book and giving you a copy for free.
To get your free copy of Charles Payne's new book, Unbreakable Investor, text the word WIN to 505-505 and just cover shipping. Text WIN to 505-505 while supplies last. Text WIN to 505-505 right now.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-580-7766. 800-580-7766. That's 800-580-7766.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best, Onder Law. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
We are talking about the Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll, and we're going to give you the results. I'm actually pretty anxious to hear what you think about this question. What is the most likely result of the presidential election? I'm not going to go through all the options, but they're basically who wins the popular vote and who wins the Electoral College is the four different options. We're going to give you the results again here in about 9 minutes. That's really exact. It's not about. It's probably exactly 9 minutes. 2:46. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon on a Tuesday afternoon. It's gorgeous out there. Unfortunately, Sue Thomas has jury duty, but I have an amazing story that has to do with CBS News with audio that was leaked inside an editorial meeting that is fascinating. It's all coming up.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
So who is this that you're playing right now?
That is a great question because I have not heard this song on our bump music before.
So I've heard this song before, but I can't remember who this was.
Dance the night away.
Ethan's in. He's like, I got this, guys.
And this just in, that music was...
Man, you guys really showed your age right there.
Oh, we're super old.
Thanks very much.
Dua Lipa.
That's right. Okay.
That's
I know this song.
Thought I said that.
I know this song because I have a 22-year-old daughter.
Is she the one that basically takes the melody from other songs and makes her own songs with it?
I don't know. Does she?
Wait, isn't that every pop music singer?
Yeah, I mean, low key.
Wait.
Well,
you
let's
have to
get into
narrow that
point
down
anymore.
for me.
Yeah,
I mean, who cares about new songs? We got really good old ones.
Yeah, it's like, you guys are old. It's like, that sounds like something that my grandpa listened to.
You know what's funny is in 50 years, people are like, back when music was still good when Dua Lipa was making it.
Back when Cardi
Thanks, Bobo,
B,
for answering that question.
You don't know anything about that, do you?
This new stuff trash.
I remember back in our day when Post Malone was doing a song by himself instead of all those country
I remember
people.
when people sang and it wasn't a robot voice.
I remember when people get out there and shake their ass. Now it's all these dang robots.
Tell them robots, 5'1", 60-pound robots that can run 7.5 miles an hour. They're running down your music.
Back when I was young, people still outrun a robot.
What is wrong with you guys?
It's amazing of how great this show started and how it just limps to the end.
This is Ryan's goal in life.
Dragging along.
This is Ryan's goal in life. He's like, all right, we're almost to the finish line. He just sticks his leg out there and trips us, so we slide across it.
Ryan is thinking right now, I've got a long weekend and a fun-filled weekend ahead of me. Can we just wrap this crap up
like,
so
I'm
I can
not
get
back
on a
until
plane?
Tuesday. They'll forget about it by then.
That's
true.
right.
I'm not back on the show till Wednesday. So I'm
did
off
they
for a
bench
couple
you for
days.
Tuesday?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Sure you will.
But after this segment, they said,
he'll be in the-
I got a couple texts.
In the send bin.
Yeah.
Trisha, Annie, Steve.
I'm going to be out there producing.
Trisha's back
Ethan will
in
be
and she's
here.
like, upon further review, I think you need a day to think about what you've said today. We're going to take you out.
Just sit right there.
You sit right there and think about what you've said, mister.
Come in, Ryan will be standing in the corner of his office with his nose up against the wall.
Was that really your best B? I don't know if it was or not.
We did it for 2 segments.
That
Yeah,
was
it should have been 1.
That was a good.
You're welcome, Mike.
All right, fine. Like, I could do producing. No, you stand there with your nose in the wall.
That's right. We drew a circle. You stick your nose
I
in
can
it.
still do other stuff. No.
I'm going to rub your nose in that right now.
You're
need
more
to
useful.
learn.
You're more useful on that wall.
Annie will walk in with the welcome mat, and if you know, you know.
Hey,
So, yeah, you can't leave it.
Jack B says, "Who's Post Malone?" Thanks, Jack.
Thank
I appreciate
you.
that.
Thank you. Thank you. He's more
I
recent.
know who he
I
is.
remember back when he was still pre-Malone.
I remember him before he fell through the stage in St. Louis.
Exactly.
That did happen.
It did happen. Yeah, Post Malone is country now.
No, he'll
Yeah.
go back to something else on his next album.
I don't know. Well,
Every
I mean,
album's been different genre, pretty much.
my wife is a huge Post Malone
It's my
fan.
favorite artist.
Is it really? So I was just like, okay. I didn't really listen to Post Malone that much. I was just like, you got a bunch of stuff on your face, man. What happened there? Did you fall asleep at the sleepover party and somebody took a pen?
Could have happened.
Seriously. Now all of a
Wouldn't
sudden,
that be great if somebody said, you know what, I'm just, like, whatever people write on my face tonight
I'm just
after I
gonna
pass
leave it.
out drunk, I'm going to get it tattooed
I
permanently.
will say you do you
Like, you go into the night knowing it, but you don't tell anybody.
I got drunk at honky tonk
Yeah.
and I woke up and this was on. I'm like, this looks really good. I want to keep it.
I will say this: it was much worse, probably in his pre-Malone days, when he had long hair, when he first started getting big, and he would have braids in and stuff. He was really ugly. It was really bad, really ugly.
Not
good.
Not like Morgan Wallen, who started off with a mullet and then got it cut when he got famous.
Yeah, now Post has short hair and it looks way better.
It does.
Way better.
He's really popular now that he's got all these country artists out there. He's super crossover. He's doing stuff with everybody. So
Smart guy.
There you go. Just keep making more stuff. So, Ethan, we didn't ask your opinion on this poll, did we?
No.
Yeah, so we're not going to. So anyway, just
You had your chance.
I just wanted to make sure that we didn't do that. It's what happens
It was
when
in
you
the
get
1
up.
o'clock hour.
It's giving you time to read it, Ethan.
You left the room earlier, and then you
Yeah, let
didn't
me
come
see,
back
what
for the
is this,
second segment. No re-entry. This is where we're at right now. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
we really stalled here. Remember when I did the pre-Malone joke? That was funny, though. We had a good time. We got a couple minutes left.
You know,
Nothing
Post-
left in the tank.
Post Malone's
we're having a
okay,
good
but
time.
I'm a big fan of
Tank
that
is
pre-Malone.
empty.
I'm a big fan of your early work.
Yeah, I remember back
that
when
was
Post
great.
Malone did rap music.
I remember when he used to voice track. It was awesome.
Dear God.
Sorry.
So anyway,
Wow.
the poll.
I just can't believe how we limped to the finish line. It was so good for such a long time. And then, not so much. The YouTube live chat poll today, what is the most likely result of the presidential election? And Brad covered it all. Everything that could happen is going to happen as long as it's Kamala and Trump.
As long as there's a results to the election. I didn't
If
cover
Ross
anything.
Perot wins this thing, this
This
poll
is-
was
everything's
totally bumped.
off.
Yeah.
Don't write off those Green Party candidates. It could happen.
I had to eliminate some of the unlikely scenarios.
Yeah. Jill Stein.
Like Jill Stein gets votes?
Jill Stein it might get a few. Hey, you know what? The more votes she gets, the better.
You know, Kennedy is still on the ballot in some places.
I think he is in Illinois.
He asked to be taken off, and they refused to take him off.
Well, and there are states that he chose to stay on, too.
After fighting like tooth and nail to keep him off.
Yeah.
And then he's
Now-
like, no,
now
just
you're
take
on?
me
No.
off.
Whatever you want, we
gotta
want the
stay.
opposite.
Yeah.
I saw an interesting tweet yesterday that said that apparently, like, some young kids, like, college kids, are jokingly talking about writing in Hawk Tua. And I saw a tweet. I saw a tweet that said, "Don't write Hawk Tua. Her real name is Haley Welch. You might hurt her chance for the presidency."
Man, you know what you need to do is turn this off and go listen to the Talk to a podcast.
Stop. Stop.
Why would this girl? Why does she need a podcast?
No, she
Why does she need fame at all?
No,
I mean,
doesn't.
it's cute, it's funny, the original video, but man, whatever. Like what the things that make you a star now. There are
Fame and
those of us.
something.
You know this, Mike. There are those of us who've been working our butts off for years,
bitter.
Trying
and
to
then
get there.
Somebody drunk walks down the street and somebody interviews him, going, "Hey, what do you do on a weekend night?" "Well, here's what I do. I'm gonna spit on this thing," and and somebody goes, "Oh my gosh, that's incredible! What is this material, this content? You're a star. You're a big star now."
You're a YouTube star.
Let's get you on with all the big artists.
We got 2 minutes to do the YouTube live chat roll. So
Oh my
the
gosh.
options are Kamala wins the popular vote and the electoral. Trump wins both. Kamala wins the popular. Trump wins electoral. Trump wins popular. Kamala wins electoral. Ethan, we didn't get your opinion. What's your opinion?
Well, quickly before I give my opinion, I'm curious what your guys' thoughts were.
We already said our opinion and you weren't paying attention.
So I think that the most realistic one is that similar to 2016 where Kamala wins the popular, but Trump still wins the electoral. But obviously you guys are way more in tune with this than I am.
Well, you and I agree.
Yeah, you and Mike agree. And
The,
Ryan and
the
I.
other folks who are here on a daily basis.
Yeah, Brad and I, we talked through, me primarily talked through the comparisons between this year and 2020.
Big homers.
And the fact that Trump really doesn't have a long way to go to overcome 2020, and we've had 4 years of Kamala and Biden, that makes it more likely to me
he
that he's
got
going to win electoral.
70+ million votes in 2020.
I think it ended up being 74 million, and they say that Biden, according to the official numbers, got to 81-ish.
81.75. It
So
was a $6 million swing.
Are they going to run up those totals as much this year after 4 years of seeing what it's like? I just don't think so. It'll be pretty close. But I'm going Trump, and so's Brad.
Trump.
Where did the listeners go?
360 votes for today's YouTube live chat poll. What is the most likely result of the presidential election? 43% say Trump with popular vote and electoral. 23 say Kamala popular and electoral. 28 Kamala popular, Trump electoral, and just 7% say Trump popular, Kamala electoral.
Thank you for weighing in today. You guys enjoy your long weekend. I will be back here on Monday. Ethan, are you hanging out with me Monday?
I am indeed.
We will be back here on Monday. You enjoy the weekend. It's going to be gorgeous. Mike Elam in for Annie Fry on 97.1 FM Talk.
I'm not a American sweetheart. Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town & Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
And a lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, I'm usually much more active, but since I've been in pain, I've had to limit the activities I'm doing.
You're listening to Janelle, an arch support specialist at the Good Feet store.
So he came in and he wanted to be able to keep up, play sports with his kids. And from there, we figure out which arch supports complement those activities. I fit him with the arch supports, and as I followed up with him, he's messaged me and said, I took my kids to the park today. We're walking, we're exercising, riding the bikes, and those are all things that he wasn't doing before because he was in pain.
For over 25 years, the Good Feet store's arch support specialists have been helping folks to live the life they love without foot, knee, hip, or back pain getting in the way.
Our goal is to have that long-term change for them. That's what's most important, is knowing that you leave an impact on someone's life. And I like that.
Try them for yourself. Stop in for a free personalized fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Visit one of our 2 locations, Creve Coeur and Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeet.com.
Missouri's Amendment 3 is cleverly worded to convince you that it only allows abortions until fetal viability. But it has loopholes that allow for abortions through all 9 months of pregnancy. Abortion proponents used to say safe, legal, and rare. But now they want abortion as common as the morning after pill. Plus, minor-aged children will have access to sex change surgery.